Hello and welcome to Fan TV, the show by the fans, for the fans. If you don't know about us already, then frankly, where have you been for the past 3 months? I am Toby Tarrant, live here for the next 3 hours on the show that football fans are talking about. And have I got a great show in store for you tonight? Before we get to that, a roundup of last night's international fixtures. Fans of England and Spain were treated to not one, not two, but 3 versions of the Mannequin Challenge, with Spain's post-match effort in the Wembley changing room by far being the best. Spain came back from 2 goals down to earn the draw there. Gareth Southgate wasn't too impressed, but I'd say the prospect of a 4-year contract netting him 1.5 million a year probably helped him sleep a bit last night. Northern Ireland were the other home nation in action last night, losing at home for the first time in 11 games. They were well beaten by Croatia, with goals from Mario Mandzukic, Duje Kopp, and an absolute perler from former Leicester hitman Andrej Kramaric, helping the visitors to a comfortable 3-0 win. Maybe now Justin's Bruma that Michael O'Neill could be heading for the Scottish hot seat doesn't seem so far-fetched after all. Elsewhere, any Arsenal fans watched with bated breath as Chile ignored Arsene Wenger's pleas, starting Alexis Sanchez up front. However, they needn't have worried, as the enigmatic striker came through 84 minutes unscathed, inspiring Chile to a rousing 3-1 comeback against Uruguay. Brazil extended their lead at the top of the table with a 2-0 win at Peru, with City youngster Gabriel Jesus grabbing the opener, and there was a much-needed win for Argentina as they leapfrogged Colombia in the group after a 3-0 win over their rivals. Meanwhile, here on the lime green sofa last night, we were treated to a flaming hot show in more ways than one. Wales fan Matthew claimed that the deadliest strike partnership ever in the Premier League was Didier Drogba's right foot and Didier Drogba's head. Going on to drop a literal bombshell of a Bruma, he suggested that the World Cup in Russia in 2018 would not go ahead, as by that time Donald Trump would have bombed the place. We had our regular dose of cheeky action with Dave and Joel, as well as the satirical musings of Chris Darwin and his tales from the top flight. And Justin announced the news that the Skype caller Andrew would be our new regular Russian correspondent, giving us a weekly update on goings-on in the motherland, making him the only reporter that lives where he's actually supposed to be commenting on here on Fan TV. Brentford fans Miles and Jonty Lord were here as well. I'm pretty sure I was at school with those two. They were 2 of the poshest people I've ever seen in my life. They wrapped things up with friends of the show, Borough fans Nathan and Paul, who gave us a rousing rendition of their song for manager Aitor Karanka. It was very catchy indeed. Keep an eye out for that. And my absolute favourite part of last night's show, JLC was left speechless for once in his life after the forfeit I laid down for him. He'd been asking for a foul all night, and that is exactly what he got. He scoffed it down with gusto, making sure that our Borough boys on the sofa got a good helping as well. And then Kenny Ken rescued us on Skype. And when Kenny Ken is the voice of calm and reason, you know that things have gone horribly wrong. I could go on for hours, but instead, let's have a look at last night's highlights.
It's a great start, Daniel, isn't it, from McLaren?
Definitely,
Derby are 6 points clear of the relegation zone. And
great transition, I love it. Great transition.
You're talking about going up. You're 6 points clear of the relegation zone.
You don't think Troy Deeney is worth anywhere near 25 million?
No, nowhere near. I wouldn't pay 2.5 million and a couple of bags of crisps for him. And Andy Carroll.
If a face ever said I've had sexy times, Joel, that was it.
I think his wife was in the room. Seriously, I really did. I did.
Okay, don't ask where.
Yeah.
Joel. What? Oh, shut up, you're so cheeky. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. England have scored a penalty against Spain. They scored. England have scored.
Arsenal were thinking, 50 games unbeaten. We're going to hit 50. No, you're not. 49.
That was
49.
That was the year off.
49.
This season.
Go on, Middlesbrough! Go on!
The mighty
course, if we end up winning this friendly tonight 2-0, of course, that would be something to celebrate, surely.
No.
Ooh, Lordy! Oh, Lordy, have mercy! What is going on there?
3, 2, 1.
I talk a ranker. I talk a ranker. Danny Ayala. Gaston Ramirez, Victor Valdez, Alvaro Negredo.
Yeah.
Looking over there for?
It's just ridiculous.
You sure this is a foul? Are you sure? Are you sure, Toby? Hey, Toby, you watching?
Have you been eating wax today? What's wrong with you?
Yo, nah, man. That is some serious heat. Bro.
What was I doing with this?
This is... Oh, sack it, man. No, we're in, man. We're down.
You know in a cartoon where the steam comes out the ears? That's what I feel like now.
It's not just coming out of my ears.
Right, for a call out.
Negredo insists Burrow's the perfect place for him.
I don't care. I honestly do not care.
My lips are still burning, man.
My lips are honestly on fire. Everybody come onto the sofa. Daniel, Matthew, come onto the sofa.
Come on, man. You need some love, man. You need some love. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so
Have a bit now. Don't put it in your eyes. You're insane. He's put it in his eyes. He's insane. Daniel's just put it in his eyes.
That was last night, and can I just say, fair play to Justin for sticking to his word. Those guys looked like they were in a very bad way indeed. It was funny though. Back to tonight. I promised you a cracking show, and here is what we have got coming up. England fans Afzal and Ryan Power, great name by the way, Ryan, will be here discussing the game last night. Gareth Southgate's trial period is up, and it is looking ever more likely that he will be getting a lucrative contract as his reward. Is he the right man for the job, and has he done enough to prove it in these past 4 games? Everton supporters may be the only fans not celebrating the return of league action this weekend. After a run of 1 win in their last 5 league games, has their mid-season wobble come a little earlier than expected? We'll be chatting to James and Gerard at 7:45 to find out if the Koeman effect has started to wear off. And my favourite married couple will be in the building at 8:15 to preview the next round of Premier League games. Our regular fantasy football gurus, Jack and James from Football Fancast, will be here with their picks. Then at 8:30, we are in the presence of Fan TV royalty tonight, as Crab and Goyle from Harry Potter, aka Dom and James, our West Ham fans, will be conjuring up some controversial chat here on the lime green. Sorry, guys. And at 9, we say ciao and benvenuto to our Italian expert and all-round nice chap, Gianluca. He'll give us an update on how the Italian national team has fared over the international break, and we'll also look ahead to the next round of Serie A fixtures. That's Serie A, not Syria, by the way. I can safely say that I have now mastered my grammar and punctuation. Apologies for any confusion last week. And at 9:30, we are joined by a couple of Crystal Palace fans to round things off, taking us all the way through until 10. We'll also have our full quota of games and mayhem, as well as regular Skypers Clinton Ford, our man Aboot Toon, and Nathan Staples for La Report, our League 1 expert. That's what's coming up tonight, but I think it's about time we got some fans out here to join me. Please welcome Ryan and Afzal, our England fans. Come on. Hello, mate. How you doing? All right? Good to see you. Good to see you. Take a seat. Take a seat. It was all going far too well, wasn't it? It was all going far too well last night until about the 89th minute, and then there's the England that I know and love. There's England. Were you expecting that at the end, or does nothing surprise you of England anymore?
No, I don't think too much surprises now, but I think that, as you say, it was all going very well. I think half the stadium had probably left and probably missed the last 2 goals as well. It seemed to empty out quite a bit before then. But
we should tell them now. They just tuned in. By
yeah,
the way.
Exactly.
It was 2-2, by the way.
Yeah,
so if
yeah,
you were
quite.
on the tune, you missed that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that that bit was disappointing. But there were so many positives to pull from the game. I think that the actual end result is doesn't necessarily count for all that much. It was a friendly at the end of the day, not a qualifier.
Yeah.
And the performance was definitely better than the end result, I thought.
Yeah. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we've got positives to take out of from the last couple of games. I think Lallana's been a very good... It's a shame he got injured.
Yeah.
And I think Henderson played very well last night. Sterling played well. Vardy as well. Him getting the goal would give him a great deal of confidence. However, I was very disappointed with the result. 2-0 up, 89 minutes. There's no way you should be drawing from that. I mean, yeah, people will say, yeah, Spain they had a weak team out, but apart from that, it was a good performance, but a very poor result.
Yeah,
it was very disappointing.
That's it, and you know, it's inescapable. Whenever you're 2-0 up, you should hang on to that. We're going to launch our first poll of the evening before we take our break. It's the first section's over already. On Twitter @FanTVUK, we launched this a couple of hours ago. Who shone brightest in the international break? Was it Sanchez, Coutinho, Lallana, or other? 138 votes in already, and 51 minutes left on that as well. So if you think you know the answer, then tweet us @FanTVUK. We've already touched on Adam Lallana, who had a very good game and 25 minutes or so for England. Coutinho scored as well for Brazil. Great to see him getting back in the team. And Alexis Sanchez scored twice for Chile last night. If there's any other candidates you think, then let us know on Twitter and we'll read some of those out a bit later on. After the break, we'll keep talking to Ryan and Afsal about England, so stay with us. Hi there, welcome back. We've got a couple of England fans on the lime green sofa after the dust has settled on last night's draw with Spain at Wembley. In the break, you were absolutely slating your wife. I've never heard... There was words there I had to Google.
Yeah.
I'd never heard anything quite like it. You were saying that you don't get to go to England games as much.
Funny because it's true, yeah. It's just that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
As much as I would like, yeah, exactly. Because each time then I have to, then it means I've got to get some... You know, those little fancy red-soled shoes or something in exchange.
Flowers
so
from the petrol station forecourt.
And my kind of guy, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, but you went to both these games. You went to both the games over the
Yeah, I think that the Scotland game, whilst I didn't play very well, the result was by far the most important thing for that particular game. And then I thought the performance last night against Spain was definitely in periods the best I've seen them play for a long time, I think. So going forward, we look really good, but also the pace of the attack as well. Like moving forward, short passes, triangles, and actually getting forward, and actually looked genuinely dangerous at times, which was really refreshing to see, I thought.
Have we been here before in recent years, though? I think I'm right in saying 35 qualifiers unbeaten now for England. Beat Germany from 2 goals down in Germany before the Euros and stuff. It's like we use these performances, we waste them in the 2 years in between major tournaments. Is that a fair comment, do you think?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the World Cups, we just can't handle the pressure. Because for years, our qualifying record's been really, really good. And when we go to big tournaments, we can't even beat Iceland. And we just struggle, pressure gets to us, players don't perform well. I don't know, it's a big problem, you know. And Southgate, as it looks like, he might get the job. I don't think that's gonna help. Whatever happens, I don't think we should appoint him.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you stand on Southgate?
I'm going to disagree. I think he should get the job.
Really? I mean,
I know it's not a popular choice, and
it's a divisive topic at the moment.
Yeah, I think that I don't see that there's too many better candidates. No one really seems to want to put themselves forward and take the job. I think that we've got to have an Englishman this time, in my opinion. We've tried with the foreign coaches, and it didn't really work either time. So I think that we've got to have someone English, and I don't really see that there's anyone better. He already knows the youngsters. He had a great record with the under-21s. He played 34 games, I think, he's manager, and they won 27 of those 34. That's pretty good. I know there's probably lots of Borough fans that don't think he's quite so good. But, you know, that record is first class. And so he already knows those youngsters, and I think bringing them through is the future for us, really. Our under-21s are mustard. I know they lost on Monday, but...
He came out and he said, Southgate came out and said, I've proven that I can handle big occasions.
No.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I thought that was...
Under-21s is very much different from the actual national team. It's so different. He's only managed Middlesbrough before. We need someone with experience, I think. Allardyce, I think, was a decent choice, you know, because he's been there, done it at clubs like, you know, West Ham. He's done well. He did all right. Bolton, he did really well. Blackburn, he did all right. So he's been there, done it. But Southgate, he's too inexperienced. I think we need someone with experience.
Where do you stand on, he said he would like an English manager. Do you care about nationality? Does it come into it?
I don't know. Like, I prefer an English manager, but I think maybe go for another foreign one, you know, who's going to try to turn things around. Yeah.
The problem is, if you want someone that's got success tournaments and someone that's English, there isn't someone that fits. They're mutually exclusive, aren't they? There's no one that falls in the middle of those two categories.
Do you know who'd be a decent choice? I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm big time Wenger out. I really want him out, but I think he'd do a good job for England. Get him when his contract finishes this summer. He can leave from Arsenal, and England should get him.
Somebody made a very good point on the sofa the other week, though, about, you touched on that foreign managers have failed. Capello and Sven-Göran Eriksson failed. But they were kind of managers at the end of their careers looking for a quick buck, and their careers since England have kind of shown that. Would Wenger be in the same sort of category? He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy, but I'd almost like a young, hungry... I mean, first thing, I think Rafa Benitez would be an exceptional appointment for England if we could poach him off Newcastle. I know Newcastle fans are going to be really angry at me for suggesting it, but I just kind of think the best man for the job is the best man for the job, and where they're born is
I think with someone like Benitez, I think that then they've got to go all out, get the money out. He's obviously on a nice fat contract as things are, and he's probably quite happy sitting pretty at the top of the championship. So I think that if they then go big, then are we then in the problem of just getting, like you said before, like almost like a mercenary manager who's just in it for the money and have 8 million a year, brilliant, and then and then we'll sack you and that'd be great.
Hold that thought. We have someone joining us on Skype who is Dan Raza, our England fan as well, who's going to join in on the conversation. Hello Dan, how you doing, mate? You good? No? Brilliant. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good, Toby. How you doing?
Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm very good, mate. I'm very, very good, thank you. We're just discussing...
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us? Well, that's how this should work, frankly, Dan. We're just discussing Gareth Southgate. Where do you stand on Gareth Southgate? Is he the man for the job, do you think?
I think we've got to take a lead feed.
I didn't catch that. Sorry, say it. I didn't catch that. Sorry, Dan.
Right, Southgate is a good manager. Like, I know he did all right at Middlesbrough, but it wasn't really something that he excelled in. Obviously, at the England under-21s, I've said it before, it's good to have a manager who knows the young England players that we have. It's good to have a manager who's seen those players come through the system. It's good to have a manager who will be bringing a new thing to the England team. But for me, from what I've seen, there hasn't been much new being brought about from Southgate, which to me kind of questions whether he really has so much control over the squad. at the end of the day, and that's something that worries me just slightly. I know we saw, for example, Henderson being brought in as captain. How many times have we tried Henderson in midfield and it hasn't necessarily worked so well? For me, though, I think with the game against Spain last night, one thing that I have to say is I do have to praise Gareth Southgate for having an England side which is going with the front foot forward. England attacked Spain. England looked to get that second goal. For once, England actually went forward and decided, look, we're not actually going to hold this lead. We're going to try and score as many goals as we can against Spain. It was after the 80th minute or so where England did kind of revert back into that idea of let's hold what we've got and let's try and see this game out. That England did struggle, and that's when, obviously, they did let the 2 goals away, but that was only late on during the game.
It's interesting you said there you didn't know how much of a say Southgate had over the squad. Well, I was surprised, I was saying this to somebody, that I was surprised that we see this all the time where we fail at a major tournament, then the qualifiers start a few months later, and it's the same usual suspects that have just let us down 2 or 3 tournaments in a row. Were you surprised as ex-England under-21 manager, Rashford only got a run out against Spain off the bench? I was hoping he was really going to come in and give a Michael Keane, a Mikel Antonio, Marcus Rashford a proper run in the England team. Were you disappointed at all? Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a whole host of them in the. I think Redmond. I think everyone thought he was going to get a run out as well, and I think there's a whole host of them queuing up, waiting in the under 21s, and I think they will continue. But the one thing that it does annoy me a little bit is a lot of people say, "Oh, he hasn't changed everything." What do you think he's going to do? He can't magically create new players out of nowhere. He's not going to pick 11 different players. He's still got that same pool of people, to pick from. So whilst you might make a couple of changes here and there, wholesale changes are pretty unlikely, really, on the face of it. I think he needs to be given a bit longer than just 4 games to judge how well he's, going to do, really.
A player's still getting picked on reputation. How long's that been a problem?
Yeah, that's always England. England, you'll always get picked on reputation. I'm not surprised it didn't change, and it's not going to change. For example, Kane, I think he's a good player, but he had a poor Euros, but he's always going to be there. And certain players will just always be there. Rooney's going to always be there, and his Euros was awful. Yeah. So I don't expect that to change.
Dan, do you think that's fair that players are still getting picked on reputation in this England team? Apparently there's a delay and then he will kick in. Well, we'll just talk amongst ourselves.
Yeah, I think I think what's the obvious. We saw Michael Antonio a couple of squads ago, wasn't it? I think in the last and that's one thing that I've been calling for a while, and it is good to see that he has brought in a couple of other players into the squad. But I do think we need to experiment and give those guys a go. I mean, Spain gave Iago Aspas a go. Imagine if England went ahead and did that. They did obviously go and score a goal for him last night, and I just think that if we are going through a process where we've got a couple of friendly fixtures against big sides like Spain, what is the harm in trying out some of the young players who clearly have talent and are performing week in, week out in the Premier League, and giving them a run out against these top sides and seeing if they can cement their places in the England team? Because if we keep on saying, not now, now's not the time to bring those new players in, we don't want to disrupt the England squad, then we're never going to bring them in. And I think hopefully Southgate does decide to do that in the next few games.
Yeah, I completely agree, Dan. Mate, we're going to let you go. We're having a few technical issues with Skype that we're going to sort out. But thank you as always, mate. Good to hear from you. Here we go. I like this bit.
Cheers.
There you go. Cheers, mate. Speak to you in a bit.
I think picking up on what he said though, he did bring in some of them. Heaton got a half, Cresswell came on, Lingard played. A few of the youngsters did get one out. So to say he just picked the same team, I don't think is that fair, to be honest.
Cresswell, people have been saying bring him in, give him a try. He got 10 minutes yesterday. I mean, because Cresswell is very forward-minded, and on the first goal he was all the way up at the penalty area. I don't know.
Maybe trying to make a bit too much.
Yeah, I don't think he should have been doing that. He should have.
I think it would have been good if he'd have brought Keane on as well instead of Jagielka. I think I don't see the point in.
Jagielka is finished now.
Yeah, absolutely. He was never, I don't think, good enough really. No, so I'm surprised that he did that.
And I mean, we talk about Jagielka. We're building for a World Cup that's 2 years away. Wayne Rooney and Gary Cahill are playing every single game as well. I mean, they're going to be a year and a half worse than they are at the moment, you'd imagine. Jagielka as well. What is kind of the point in a Phil Jagielka being in the England squad? He's going to be 36 by the time the World Cup comes round.
There is no point.
There is no point. I completely agree. It just seems so bizarre. And, to have Rooney as captain as well, I only get the reasoning behind giving Henderson if you run out. Because 2 years from now, what sort of state Rooney going to be in the way he's been declining
It looks like he will... I don't know. Well, on form now, I wouldn't pick him in that squad. Obviously, he was a great player, but he's not a great player anymore, so I wouldn't pick him in the squad.
I think I would have Rooney in my squad. I wouldn't have him in the starting team. I think but I think it'd be good to have someone with his experience in the squad, because if you look, only him, Cahill and Hart, they're the only ones with more than 50 caps. So there's a lot of young lads now. A lot of them have only got a handful of caps. Someone has got to be in there to say, right, I've been there, I've done that. You know, and it does annoy me a little bit because everyone sort of goes on, oh, he's past it, he's rubbish, this and that. You know, he is our all-time leading goal scorer, and in any other country in the world, they would have a massive bronze statue of him outside the national stadium.
He's a legend. He's still a legend.
Here he just gets pelters from everyone. I don't quite get it.
But I think I prefer the likes of like Dele Alli in that role than Rooney at the moment.
No, I agree
or
with that.
Lallana,
Lallana. Or Lallana on the wing, I think, on the left. Or
Lallana covered himself in a bit of glory in the last game in 28 minutes, whenever he got. I'm going to launch the first teaser of the evening. So if you think you know the answer, then tweet us at FanTVUK. The first one is that Hector Bellerin has taken the most touches for a defender in the opposition half so far this season. Who is second? So Hector Bellerin has taken the most touches for a defender in the opposition's half this season. Who is second in the Premier League, that is, by the way. Any ideas on the sofa? You've got 10 seconds to go to the break.
Okay, I think maybe Kyle Walker or Kyle Walker.
Yeah, one of the attacking
Kyle Walker,
Good shout. Right, we'll reveal the answer a bit later on. We'll be back in just a sec as well. Hello, welcome back to Fan TV. The international break is nearly over, just a few days to go until the Premier League returns. Thank goodness for that. We are discussing England, though, last night, drew 2-2 with Spain in a friendly at Wembley. And we'll come on to the players that covered themselves in a bit of glory during the international break. But let's talk about two who didn't. Did you see the pictures of Wayne Rooney off his trolley, crashing a wedding during the international break? Did you see those?
Yeah, I think we've all done it, but maybe not quite in the same spotlight as he. It doesn't look great, does it, at the end of the day?
No, it doesn't. So, I mean, the reports are that apparently after the Scotland game, Wayne Rooney and Phil Jagielka stayed in the hotel and then got absolutely bladdered.
Yeah.
And then crashed a wedding that was going on in the hotel. Jagielka and Rooney. Rooney then went back to Manchester United with a knee injury, but we're expecting him to be fit for the weekend, so that seems a bit suspicious. And also, why does Jagielka? What did Jagielka get away with?
Yeah, maybe that's why he played poorly when he came on. Still hungover, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. When you get to that age,
I think that's one of the things that nowadays, with social media as it is, everyone's got a phone in their pocket with a camera on it, and it's so easy for something like that to happen, isn't it? And obviously they can make it look as spin it in any way they want. But obviously he did look pretty hammered in the pictures that I saw. Go out and celebrate. I think that should be encouraged, but maybe do it behind closed doors a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, is it a non-story? Is it because it's Wayne Rooney or is it quite a big deal that they went out after the Scotland game?
I think if it had been any of the players, it probably would have made the front pages. I think.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I think it's not a great time for Rooney at the moment, is it?
No, well, I don't think the media need that much encouragement to get on his back, to be quite honest. So, but then he's not helping himself by giving him an excuse to do so, really.
Yeah. And he's experienced enough now to know better as well. I was a bit
so?
surprised by it as well because he's done a few stupid things in his career, but I never associated him with going out and being on the razzle night. That's not that. I was considered to be quite professional, just a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, well, it's not like we've seen pictures like that all the time, all through his career, is it really? So no, I'd completely agree with you.
Yeah, if it was Jack Wilshere, I'd be like,
we won't be
good old
surprised.
Jack. yeah, good old Jack. Yeah, it's just another night, just another day in the life for Jack Wilshere. But a couple of players we touched on. Adam Lallana. For one who's been brilliant for Liverpool this season. He did get injured, and as a Liverpool fan, I'm praying that doesn't last too long because he's been absolutely immense. Do you think 2 goals in 2 games, admittedly one from the spot, but do you think he's put himself, it's now his place to lose?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he might even have 3. Has he got 3 in the last?
Yeah.
His last 3.
Yeah.
So I think that, definitely his to lose. I think he's come on leaps and bounds really over the last season or 2. I think that is good things happening at Liverpool, and I think that he's central to a lot of those. So I think that can only be good from an English perspective.
It's nice to see as well a player who's on fire for their club and playing for a club that's playing very well. Translate that into their England shirt for a change, isn't it? Which is something that we've really struggled with the last decade, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, definitely. I think Klopp's got the best out of him.
Yeah.
Klopp has really, he's got him, he's playing in his right position. And if you see Lallana, he's always putting in effort, continuously running. Even in the Euros, I thought he was one of the better players for England. And he's carried that form from his Liverpool form to England, which is very good to see.
Yeah.
He's one of those that always looks like he tries and actually cares, and I think that can't always be said of all of the players.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Whereas I think that he actually looks like he, really wants to play for the shirt, sort of thing, which is.
I mean, it is an amazing thing you say there, but you're completely correct. We do sometimes sit watching and tearing our hair out because we're sitting there going, they couldn't care less, these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
They must do. They're professional footballers, but why does the England national team sometimes give off that aura? Do you think there's any reason behind that? Do you think it's in our heads? Or
I don't know, it's a strange one.
The body language just sometimes seems
if
off.
we could have 11 David Beckhams against Greece, that sort of mentality, and yet, as you say, it seems to be the absolute opposite of that half of the time.
Don't put in 100% effort and stuff. God knows why. You see other players for other countries, they can put their country first, but I don't know, in England...
I mean,
and also it goes on to the news they had this week where they said about the player they haven't announced it, who they in the summer tournament, who asked their agent to get them out of there.
Yeah.
So they haven't actually announced who it is yet.
That's
but whoever that is,
they shouldn't play.
Send him to the tower.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
treasonous.
England,
Well, I mean, it should really be the pinnacle, shouldn't it?
Absolutely.
It is, I think.
I think sometimes the pinnacle for players nowadays is just to get into the England team. It's almost not about achieving, it's just about saying you're an England international sometimes. I worry that's sometimes the thing, and anything beyond that's a bonus. Whereas, in Spain and Germany, they want to bring a tournament, bring a trophy back
to the top level, be a hero for their country.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of England players that say the proudest moment of their career was when they first stepped onto the pitch for England. They never say, when we beat so-and-so, it's just when they first... So, I don't know, I do worry about that.
I think some of the other countries view it a bit differently. I think, as you say, it is the pinnacle for other ones. I think in this country, maybe it's not quite to the same degree, because I think, especially with the evolution of the Premier League, I think a lot of fans certainly put club football way ahead of international football.
Majority.
Yeah, probably the majority.
90% easily.
A lot see it as an inconvenience.
Because they don't want their players to get injured and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But I think players see it differently. Like, for example, Sanchez, he showed the other day that country comes first.
Yeah, but he's not English.
He's not English for obviously for Chile. He said that obviously because he wanted to take them to the World Cup. And World Cup is the heights, to reach.
And that's probably because they all worship the ground he walks on, I would imagine. In
Exactly. Yeah.
I doubt he has to buy himself a pint in too many places. You know? Whereas, you know, I think it's a little bit different.
If he crashes a wedding, they just brush down in the car.
They won't say anything. But because in England, obviously, like, if Rooney does well or someone, like, opposite rival fans won't really praise him. Or if, just say, a Spurs player does well, rival fans won't praise him.
True
but
as well.
it's like that, you know. But whereas other countries, if Iniesta does well for Spain, I'm sure Real Madrid fans would, you know, say, well done.
Yeah, I'm sure they were celebrating when he scored the winning goal in the World Cup.
Exactly, I'm sure they celebrate. Whereas if Harry Kane scored the winning goal in the World Cup, I'd celebrate, even though I'm Arsenal fan, I'd celebrate, of course, but I don't think a lot of Arsenal fans would. Some wouldn't, but I would, yeah.
They'd celebrate and then realise who scored it.
Yeah, they'd celebrate, then they realise, and they'd be like,
I'm sure nobody noticed.
It's a bit weird.
It's interesting. So, you're an Arsenal fan. Are you...
Cheltenham Town.
Cheltenham Town. Okay, well, it's a bit different for you, but I was going to ask, obviously, go to England, home and away when you can.
Yeah.
Bloody misses. Does club come first for you guys?
For me, no. I put.
Do you think it's easier because you're a Cheltenham Town fan? I don't want to be disrespectful, but you know, I mean,
yeah, probably because a lot of the makeup of other fans that go and watch England home and away are a lot of the time lower league teams. There's a lot of Division 1 and 2 and so forth. And I appreciate I'm in the minority. Most people obviously do put the club first. But for me, I prefer watching England.
Yeah, and.
For me, it is club first, but only by a bit, not by a lot. Really? Like, if you ask majority of just say Arsenal, Chelsea, United, they'll say, oh, club any day.
Yeah.
For me, it is club first, but it's not a huge, there's not a huge difference in it now.
No, it's just, I always like to ask that question. It's interesting.
I'm not sure if that's because England aren't doing so great at the moment or not. I'm not sure, because a lot of people would say that. A lot of people probably didn't even watch the game. And whether or not that's because we haven't played so great and we had a dismal effort in the summer, might be different if we were world champions. I don't know. Maybe then everyone would want to watch again. But that said, they still sell out 88,000 at Wembley for a friendly. How many other countries get 88,000 for a friendly?
I think for people that didn't watch the game as well, it's one of those where you tune in and go, you check the score and go, 89th for 91st minute. Typical England, but you know, you forget the 89 minutes before it were actually were quite positive.
Yeah, but I enjoy watching, you know, England and stuff. I mean, still, I want them to do well. So
I think it's thankfully now, but looks as well. Certainly in the last game, we've actually played a bit more attractive football to watch. So hopefully, it has been a bit boring in the past. I think some of the tactics. So hopefully, we might see something a bit more like we saw a glimpse of last night.
I like the point you made as well about, is it because England haven't played so well at the minute? Because my generation, we've never seen a good England team. You know, I vaguely remember '96, but I was 6 years old at the time. '98 was my first real memory when Michael Owen scored a brilliant goal. That was all right. Beckham got sent off. But there must have been a generation there must have been a buzz around them between 90 to 96. And you've had Italia 19, Euro 96. There must have been a bit more. And maybe if you asked the club versus country question back then, it would have been a bit harder to answer.
Well, that's pre-Premier League as well, isn't it? Or in the middle of that.
I think 2004
became the monster we know now.
2004, we had a very good team going into the Euros. We got unlucky with a penalty shootout. But 2004, we had actually a very, very good team. Gerrard, Lampard, Beckham, Scholes, Rooney, Campbell, John Terry. You know, we should have won that tournament. But but we've got a worse team now.
We've got a question that's come in on YouTube. Thank you, everyone. If you've got anything you want to get in touch with, let us know. What do you make of Aaron Cresswell being blamed for Spain's goals? We touched on it a bit earlier. I saw him getting a bit of abuse on Twitter this morning. You made an interesting point that he's a very attacking fullback, and we probably just wanted to give him a run out, but 2-0 up, it's probably not the time to bring on a more attacking fullback. It's probably a time to sit back. Bit harsh on Aaron Cresswell?
Yeah, we love a good scapegoat, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
In this country. Yeah, let's put a load of hope, we'll get on his back and he probably won't be seen again. But I mean, he certainly, it did look like it was a bit of a blip, but you say he's come on really late in the game, and as you say, he likes to obviously push forward, but was that the right time of the game to be doing that?
Probably a bit keen to impress. You've only get 10 minutes as well.
Quite, yeah.
I think he's a decent player, and coming on your debut, I think you should just stayed back, played it easy, not trying to over impress.
We talked about the fact that Jagielka's still getting in the squad. There's certain positions we're really bare. Fullbacks, I mean left backs. The fact that Aaron Cresswell's making his debut, Ryan Birch and Luke Shaw waiting in the wings. I mean Leighton Baines came and went very quickly. We had Ashley Cole before that. Kyle Walker, I mean, Nathaniel Klein in any other era would walk into the England team, but he can't get in the team at the minute because of Kyle Walker. It's just typical, isn't it?
The fullbacks are looking pretty good, and with the the holding midfielders where they were playing Dyer and Henderson means that they can bomb on, which is great, but we need to have someone better in the centre half. Really. I don't think Cahill is all that.
He makes too many mistakes. Cahill, even for Chelsea, he makes a lot of mistakes, and I don't think Smalling as well is capable of making mistakes.
I think they have both those
Stones
players,
as well.
Cahill and Smalling, have been found out throughout their careers
Definitely,
that they're very good players, but they're not great players.
No,
and when they get to a certain level, there's been big Champions League nights and big FA Cup
when you're coming up
matches
against the very best strikers,
where they've let themselves down in the past.
Where the problem
and when
is,
it comes around to a World Cup, doesn't get any higher than that.
So I don't know really what the solution is. I think Stones is far from being the finished article as well, but I do think we do have to stick with him personally.
We have to play Stones, although he's not, obviously he's very overrated, but we have to stick with him because who else is there?
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. So maybe put in there with him, I don't know, Ben Gibson or someone who played with him. They were the two centre-half partnership for the under-21s.
Yeah.
They did well together. So he's only young, so maybe. But other than that, it's difficult. And if you look back, we used to have so many brilliant centre-halves. I think Ledley King couldn't even get in the squad because we had Sol Campbell,
Ferdinand Terry,
Jamie Carragher, a whole load in the squad. And now all of a sudden we've got
these things go in cycles. We've struggled on the left wing for years as well.
Yeah,
we're going to let you go, but thank you very much for coming and talk to us. But you both seem relatively positive about England, which is a refreshing change to the rest of the nation.
Yeah, I think the clubs now need to, they don't give many English players full-on chance. I think.
Hopefully,
maybe
I think Wilshere and stuff like that going to Bournemouth. We need to see more of
that.
If you're not getting in the team, then,
you need to see more
go
of
out
that.
alone. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. We will be back after the break. Keep your questions coming in. Thank you very much, everyone that's been getting involved. You can tweet us at FanTVUK if you've got anything you want to get involved with, and there's some polls running on there as well. We're going to move on, talking from England. The international break is nearly over, and we're going to focus on Everton with fans James and Gerard in just a sec. Hi there, it is Wednesday night, Fan TV here live on Sky 212, Facebook and YouTube as well. It is the show that football fans are talking about. And in just a few minutes, it is the turn of Everton supporters James and Gerard. Yes, it's nearly time to find out if the Koeman effect has started to wear off. Then in half an hour, my favourite married couple will be back from Football Fancast. Jack and James will be here with their picks ahead of the weekend. That is at 8:15. At 8:30, we're in the presence of Fan TV royalty tonight as Crab and Goyle aka Dom and James, our West Ham fans, will be on the lime green sofas. And at 9, we say ciao and benvenuto to our Italian expert. An all-round nice chap, frankly. Gianluca is going to be here talking everything about Serie A. At 9:30, taking us all the way through until the end, we are joined by a couple of Crystal Palace fans, Nick and Jel, to round things off. All that plus our regular guest, Clinton Ford, our man about Toon, and League One expert Nathan Staples is going to be on Skype in just a second. That is still to come, but right now, it is time for some Everton fans. James and Gerard. Come on, James and Gerard. Good to see you, mate. How you doing, all right? Good to see you. Take a seat, take a seat. We will talk about your beloved Everton in just a sec, but right now we are going to cut to our French football expert. It's Nathan Staples.
Le rapport des matchs.
There we go. What an entrance music that is. I bet that never gets bored, does it?
No, I can have entrance music. I want that following me round if I can, if that's all right.
I'm sure the rest of Mansfield wouldn't want you to have that going everywhere you go.
I don't think
thank you for getting in touch as ever, Nathan. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Toby. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. Nathan is our French football expert, but he Skypes in from Mansfield. It's a bit complicated, but it works. It works. Some things just work. French football updates. The international break first. Let's talk about the national team. Drew 0-0 with Ivory Coast last night and beat Sweden 2-1 in their qualifier. What was the general reaction back in France? I was going to say back home, but what was the reaction in Mansfield to the French results?
That would be a strange home for them, I think. It was a mixed bag, really. I mean, the performances in both weren't ideal. The result in the game against Sweden was the important thing, getting those 3 points. That maintains their top position in that group, which is vitally important in World Cup qualifiers. That's come from behind after Emil Forsberg put Sweden ahead, but Paul Pogba and Dimitri Payet seized foot to that they won a 2-1. But the result's the more important thing in qualifiers. Every England fan knows that as well, that results matter more than performances at this stage. Getting to those finals, the important bits, and going on from there when you get there is the vital thing. But they experimented a little bit more against the Ivory Coast. They tried a couple of the young players. They gave debuts to the likes of Sebastian Corchia and another young forward in Thomas Lemar, who plays for Monaco. They both made their debuts, but it was a relatively abject performance. Kante was the best player by a mile, and it was a bit middling, really. They'll be a little bit disappointed that they didn't show something different against Ivory Coast. Some of the young players like Ousmane Dembele didn't really show enough. But the result in the earlier game in the midweek was the important thing, and the victory and the 3 points was important, yeah.
That game against Sweden earlier in the week, the qualifier, Pogba and Payet scored. Do they have the opposite thing in France where, because in England they play well for their clubs and then they get into the national team and they're hopeless? Well, Pogba and Payet have done absolutely nothing in the Premier League this season, and then they pull on a France kit and score.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Pogba was relatively decent against Sweden, but he started the game against Ivory Coast, but was relatively anonymous, really, which is similar to his Manchester United form, really. And Payet, he always is capable of that moment of magic. He was solid, but he was nothing spectacular, and he comes up with a moment of magic, really, to win it. So it's strange to say that, yes, they do slightly more in a French shirt, but not an enormous amount more. I wouldn't say they really became world beaters again in these kind of games. They were just maybe with that glimpse of magic, a moment that they haven't seen in the Premier League this season, that those brief glimpses of their brilliance again in the French national shirt instead.
Yeah, I guess class is permanent, I suppose. Looking ahead to the French Ligue 1, as they like to call it over there. I don't know what they call it in Mansfield, but in France it's
Ligue 1, yes.
Nice is still top because it's been an international break since I last spoke to you, so they're probably quite enjoying this international break because it's one more week at the top of the league, which, do you reckon that's going to hang on much longer?
Well, the fact that Monaco play on Friday means that they will go top if they win for at least a brief amount of time, and that looks pretty likely. They're playing bottom of the Ligue Lorient, who have just signed a new manager. They had to go through 4 different blokes to try and get that option. There were so many people turning it down that it's clearly people running away.
That's like me getting this gig.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
4 other guys turned it down. I said, I'll do it. I'll do it if you need me.
Yes, eventually. Someone has to step up to the plate eventually, don't
exactly.
they? So, yeah, exactly. And then Nice have got an awkward game on Sunday evening against Saint-Etienne, who are notoriously stubborn, especially at home. It's a great ground and they create great atmosphere at home. They're a traditionally defensive side under Christophe Galtier. It's not going to be an easy one to come back to. So I wouldn't be surprised if the league does change this weekend. It's a tricky set of fixtures for Nice to sort of hope that someone gets a result or they get a result. I don't think they might start looking over their shoulder after this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Any other games worth looking out for? Paris Saint-Germain have got quite an easy ride of things, haven't they, at home against Nantes, I believe?
Yeah, against Nantes, as it might be pronounced in France.
Nantes, Nantes, you know, whatever.
That should be a relatively simple one as well. Nantes have been a pretty dreadful team going forward. They're not particularly pulling up any trees, even though they've got a former French league winner in Remy Gard as manager. It's not going to be a difficult one really for Paris Saint-Germain. They again will expect to win. That means if they win and Nice don't win, or at least if they lose at Saint-Etienne, that means they'll jump above them. So that'll make the title race interesting again with all three on the same amount of points. But other than that, there's not a really standout fixture. Lyon are playing Lille on Friday night as well at home. That should be entertaining, although Lille are a much, much worse team than they used to be back in when they qualified the Champions League a couple of years ago. But no, it's that Friday evening fixture for Monaco and especially that Sunday night one for Nice is the big ones in Ligue 1 this weekend.
Any other fixtures, or is that the cream of the crop in the French league this week?
Unless you're really swelling for something like Guingamp and Bordeaux, which might be an interesting one. Guingamp have been a little bit of a surprise. They're in fourth and they've got some really interesting young players under Kouambare. They're a decent side. Other than that, you're looking at like the likes of Bastia versus Montpellier, which is two sides that aren't particularly playing well, although Montpellier are a good side. They've got a young man in Riyad Boudibous, who's a very, very good player. It should be someone who English clubs should keep an eye on in the summer. I would describe him as a budget Dimitri Payet, although he plays behind the striker. He's very talented with the ball at his feet. He's good at set pieces. He scored 6 goals this season. He averages about 6 to 7 assists a season as well. So he might be interesting to watch if you're really looking for something on that Saturday evening sort of fixtures that they have in the multiplex in France. But other than that, it's a mixed bag for the Ligue 1 this season.
All in all, looking forward to the international break being over?
Absolutely. I get sick of the international break. I don't tend to watch England anymore. I try and catch highlights of France maybe, and I'm a bit disenfranchised with it, if in all honesty. I do really look forward to the club season coming back, and yeah, this stretch till March will be really satisfying now.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Always good to hear from you, Nathan, mate. Thank you very much for getting in touch.
No problem at all.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. We'll speak to you same time next week. Thank you.
Yes.
Nathan, everybody.
Le rapport des matchs.
Never gets old, that thing. Right, the mannequin challenges are over. You can move and you can talk now and stuff. So thank you for joining us. Let's talk about your Everton. That's only if you want to. It's not going too well at the minute, is it?
It's a sticky patch, but we'll be all right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah,
you'll be all right.
The games are going to come thick and fast now, and
yeah,
I think we'll turn it around.
Yeah, it's been a strange one because start of the season there was so many positives flying around Everton, but this is football, isn't it? It can all change. Yeah. Can all change quickly. I'm going to go through the stats of you just because, just take a seat there, exactly, get comfortable. You've only won 1 in 6, but that was against West Ham. Yeah, you lost your last game 5-0 against Chelsea. You're also out of the League Cup, lost to Norwich in that. You've dropped down to 7th. On the positives, you're unbeaten at home, 1-3, drawn 2 at home.
That's right.
I mean, it's not going great at the minute. I tried to give you a nice positive there at the end. Do you worry, though? You're 7th at the minute, despite a good start to the season. Do you ever worry that you've fallen so far behind that 6 above you at the moment?
No, it's touching distance still. The games are going to come thick and fast. We play Swansea, which should be 3 points in the bag. And then I think we got United at home, so hopefully that should be 3 points as well. The Southampton away, isn't it?
Yes,
that's a grudge game as well. That will be a big grudge game because of Koeman. So I don't know. It could go either way at the moment. If we come out of them 3 games with only say 3 points, 2 points, yeah, it's a mid-table obscurity, isn't it?
What do you think? Do you think you're farther off that top 6 than you've been in the past?
Well, not compared to the last 2 seasons. No, I think we're near it down the last 2 seasons, but compared to under Moyes, maybe yeah.
Is that the thing? Is it the fact that now it's a top 6 and it used to be a top 4? Back in the day when I think when you guys got into the Champions League and stuff, you only had to take one team out of that top 4 to overtake them. Now, the emergence of Spurs and people like that, I mean, has that made it harder for Everton to compete?
Well, you've got Spurs, you've got City, you've got Liverpool, you've got United, even though they're tithering away. You've got Chelsea. There's 5 massive, challenging teams. So you've got it to be 6th. You know, it's a lot of work, and to be 4th, you've got to be lucky, I think. Have a big,
I think the league's got harder over the years compared to.
And we haven't even said nothing about Leicester as well. Like, you know, they were champions.
Yeah, so it was another place taken from that top 6 last season.
It's just. But no, it's become a hard league. It's good, and I think Koeman's getting to grips with the squad, or I hope he is anyway. Yeah. And he'll work it out.
You've had a bit of money to spend for the first time in recent memory, really. You spent a bit in the transfer window. Does it kind of show though that you can't just have money? You seem to struggle in a way to attract the top bracket player.
Yeah, you need to attract. You need to be up in the top consistently to attract the players, don't you? So we missed out on Sissoko, didn't we?
Yeah, thank God. It doesn't look that good, and now Lloris and Harry Kane want the same wages, isn't? I don't know what he's on, but he wants a few bob. Like. So I'm not bothered that we missed out on them anyway.
Yeah, I think you might have dodged a bullet there. To be fair, we're going to take a break, but I launched a teaser earlier, and I told you that Hector Bellerin has taken the most touches for a defender in the opposition box. Who is second? So Hector Bellerin has taken the most touches for a defender in the opposition box. Who is second? On Twitter at FanTV UK. A couple of guesses already. David Luiz from Dave there has had a good Twitter name as well. Clinical Grig. I like that. Good Twitter name there, Dave. Any more guesses there as well? Adam Smith from Bournemouth. Yeah, I think that's a good shout as well. He does like to get forward. Thank you, Mitch, for getting in touch. I can tell you they're both wrong though. So both good guesses, but also complete nonsense. So thank you very much. Keep your guesses coming in on Twitter at FanTV UK if you think you know the answer. Which defender has taken the second most touches in the box other than Bellerin? See you in a sec. Hi there, welcome back to Fan TV. I can tell you that poll 1 of the night has now closed, but we can have a look at the results for you right now. Thank you everyone that voted and got involved with that at Fan TV UK. Who shone brightest in the international break? Alexis Sanchez, 42%. Coutinho, 18%. Lallana boosted up to 30% by the end, and 10% others. Thank you everyone that voted in that. Alexis Sanchez scored 2 for Chile, so you can't really argue with that. And we're going to launch poll 2 straight away, as we have a couple of Everton fans on the lime green sofa. It is underway already, but there's an hour to go on it. Which league best suits Lukaku's potential? Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, or Premier League? We've had a couple of votes in already on that. Keep those coming in. Tweet us at FanTVUK. I'm also being told on Twitter that we already have a winner on the teaser for the evening. So well done, whoever that was. Have we got a name of that person? We don't. We will, but we will reveal your name in a bit. So the question was, Hector Bellerin has taken the most touches for a defender in the opposition box. Who is second in the Premier League this season? The answer is a bit of a surprise. It's Scott Dan from Crystal Palace. It sends back. Well done to Lucy. Well done, Lucy. Great shout. What's he doing? He's a centre back. What's he doing?
All headers.
All headers, isn't it?
Probably.
That is literally about it, isn't it?
Probably.
Fair play to you. Well done, Lucy, and well done, Scott Dan, as well. That second poll that I touched on there with Romelu Lukaku. The reason we asked that is Ronald Koeman came out and he basically came out and said that Romelu Lukaku has to leave Everton to fulfil his potential. Could you believe what you were reading when you saw your manager saying that? Whose team are you on, Ronald?
Yeah, I think, well, I hope his comments were taken out of context. But he's basically saying if he wants to make the next step, he's got to go and play for a better team. I don't think he means in the Premier League. I think he means Barcelona or Bayern Munich. But he can go if someone offers the right money, maybe next year. Not in January, though. That's just
pointless selling.
Pointless, yeah, and definitely not to another Premier League club.
What did you make of it when Koeman came out and basically told people that he could do better than Everton?
Well, what he said is right, but he's in a way, but then was saying it in the press is it's
doesn't endear himself to the fans.
It kind of causes distance between him and the fans in a way. So,
I mean, he's not held back since day one, Ronald Koeman, which is quite refreshing as a neutral, I have to say. It is quite nice. Roberto Martinez was the polar opposite to Ronald Koeman, wasn't he? He would wax lyrical, be overly positive, no matter how bad the performance. What do you prefer?
Well, Koeman, definitely. I'd rather someone told me as it is. But yeah, Martinez, that was just a nightmare. That was just 2 years of just.
There was two managers on the same in the Merseyside who were very similar, Rodgers and Martinez, in their handling of the media with this sickeningly over the top positivity about everything about the club.
Both love the sound of their own voice.
Yeah,
they wouldn't shut up, would they?
Yeah, very much so. So you would prefer Koeman?
Yeah, he's more honest. So
yeah, coming out and being blunt. And he's not held back. Another point he made, obviously, England played last night, and Ross Barkley nowhere to be seen in the England setup.
He's not playing well enough.
He's not playing well enough. No. I mean, Ronald Koeman came out and said earlier in the season that Barkley basically he's not getting any younger, and if he was going to be a good player, he needs to start showing it. He's spot on, isn't he?
Yeah. We were saying this last time we were on.
He needs to step up. As I said last time, he's a bit part superstar. He might play good 4 games a season where, he'll step up and you think this lad's good, but in the other, 20-odd games, he won't be nowhere, will he?
Yeah, he had a good game against West Ham, and then against Chelsea.
He went missing.
Yeah, he's like that all the time.
And he does it, he kind of in fits and bursts, isn't it, for a month.
Yeah.
You think, brilliant, penny's dropped, here we go, this is the Ross Barkley, and then you won't hear about him again until May.
But I'm glad he's not in the English squad because I almost see it as like a bit of a poison chalice.
Really?
Playing for England sometimes, especially if you go to the tournaments. I was glad when him and Stones never got in the end, especially against Iceland. Yeah. Because, I mean, my perception of like the England players is like the overpaid, underworked, self-obsessed individuals. Like. Yeah. And I don't, that's my general thing about like just the England national side. Yeah. Like you were saying, what the other lads were saying before about like if you spoke to some of the England players and said what was your pinnacle of your career, if you spoke to like someone, it wouldn't be like you spoke to Kyle Walker, it wouldn't be, oh, that win against Scotland, it'd be like the day I bought that convertible Bentley. I knew I made it then. And that's the attitude
No, we mean within
you've got.
football, Carl. Oh, right.
Yeah. When I drove it to the match, yeah. But and that's the attitude of the squad you got. And the manager that you need for England now is someone to really hammer them egos down and not be scared and not a wet mop like Gareth Southgate or Roy Hodgson. You need someone who's absolutely, you need like a Cuban.
I mean, it's interesting because that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, we've maybe been guilty of hiring puppets in the past who can basically do what
Definitely.
the FA want them to do.
Definitely.
Ronald Koeman's the sort of guy that would stand up to them and ruffle a few feathers, wouldn't he?
Tell them and tell the FA how it needs to be, and that's exactly what England need anyway.
Yeah,
that's my stance. Anyway.
I don't think I don't think you're far wrong. I don't think you're far wrong. Yeah, I mean Ross Barkley is 23 years old now.
Yeah.
Are you hopeful of him, or do you think he's going to be a steady Premier League player?
Fingers crossed, because he's one of our own, and you want to see him come through. We want him to be the next Gerrard, but he hasn't got the aggression and the attitude. Yeah.
You want him to be the next Gerrard?
No, just a bit better than me.
That's the way. He's got all the potential, and if he's not careful, he's going to be the next Jack Rodwell, and see his career go that way instead of that way.
Yeah.
And I think mentality-wise, you know, he seems like a good kid. You don't see him like Lukaku coming out to the press and leaking bits and saying this and that. So we all want him to do well.
I think the big difference there is Lukaku's actually wanted by other clubs. I think that's probably...
not for the money they're asking. Like, if Lukaku was half the player what he thought he was, he'd be the best player in the world. But he is a good player though.
If you're watching Romelu, please don't leave us in January. Please don't leave us in January, essentially. I mean, other things that Ronald Koeman's come out recently, and not maybe endeared himself to the Everton fans, he was waxing lyrical all week about Liverpool impressing him and Liverpool going to win the league. Was that a strange thing to read?
Putting pressure on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mind games? Hopefully. Mind games,
You reckon?
Yeah, let's hope so. We'll tell you after the derby. It's 19th, isn't it, December?
Yeah, 19th, yeah.
It's going to be a good Christmas or a bad Christmas, I'll tell you then.
Depending on that. Within your houses, are you all blue?
All blue, yeah.
All blue, both all blue.
No mixed marriage in our house.
No mixed marriage. No mixed marriage. His and her sings or anything like that. No, okay, just checking. Touching on England as well last night. Poor Phil Jagielka. We were slating him earlier on the lime green sofas.
Yeah, I like Phil.
I bet you do.
Yeah. He's all right, Phil. But I agree. Maybe it's time for him to step down. Maybe someone like Keane to step up.
Well, Michael Keane, I completely agree. Phil Jagielka last night broke the record for the most capped England player whilst playing for Everton. 40 caps, which overtook Alan Ball, which I was amazed to see. I wasn't expecting him to be hard and bally there, but
I mean, players who've done well for Everton when they've stepped up to England, they've always ended up being sold on, haven't they? Like Rooney. Like Lescott. Once we've stopped into international and got into that bracket, they've always been moved on. Phil's managed to stay here for about 10 years, so no surprise.
34, alongside Ashley Williams, they're a bit of a old man's club at the back. It's kind of working though, Chelsea aside.
Well, Everton got a history of that, back from Richard Goff and Dave Watson. They were about 40. They do a solid defence. And he had Weir and Stubbs, they were about the same. They were solid. So we seem to have this history of old defenders, seems to do as well.
And Joseph Yobo.
Yobo,
Not quite on the same level as the other ones. And we talked about Ronald Koeman sucking up to Liverpool a bit, although you reckon it might be mind games. Was it mind games, Phil Jagielka going out on the Raz with Wayne Rooney during the international break?
What a guy.
What a guy. Phil Jagielka sabotaging Wayne Rooney's England career from the inside out.
I bet he was a free bar as well. I bet he never put his hand in his pocket.
They crashed the wedding.
Yeah.
There was literally a free bar. Yeah, what did you make of that? Does Phil Jagielka, he doesn't strike me as that kind of guy.
No, not at all. But that was the first I've heard of it when you mentioned it before. But I was surprised, but yeah.
Hey, he's 34. He's earned the right to have a few drinks.
I don't think Koeman can't say anything because Koeman did the same for Feyenoord. When it's in the autobiography, he did the same. And his manager had a go at him and he's like, wasn't bothered.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd like to turn you to page 64, please, Ronald. Remember? Feyenoord? Yeah, exactly. Was that the best moment of Phil Jagielka's career, though? And I hate talking about it, that goal at Anfield in the Merseyside derby.
I was there. Yeah.
You were there, were you?
Centenary stand, I was there, amongst all the Reds. Yeah, I was there.
God, that hurt. Great. Do you know what? I was watching it on a perfectly legal dodgy stream. At the time, I was out the country when it happened.
Goal.
Yeah, and all I saw was somebody run up, a blurry figure in a blue Everton shirt, run up and strike this ball, and then just the crowd behind it just go mad. And I was going, what a goal! Who's hit that? And then I couldn't tell until it just cut onto a close-up of Phil Jagielka running away. Everyone, I know, I'll come off it. It's not Phil Jagielka, and so calm. Like he'd done it all the time. Like he'd always scored 91st minute equalisers from the 35 yards out. Was that when he endeared himself to Everton fans more than you already had?
No, he's always been.
It was when he turned down a move to Arsenal. Said he didn't want to go there. A couple of seasons before. So no, I like Phil. He's a good grounded player, proper professional.
No.
I like Ashley Williams.
He came back to the club as well. The club let him go. He went to Sheffield United and he came back. So I think he sees Everton as his own, really.
Yeah,
the club,
yeah.
So.
No, I don't think anyone's got a bad word to say about Phil. Maybe Wayne Rooney. On Saturday, on Sunday morning. But
it's his fault.
Apart from that, I just wanted to ask you very quickly about the other centre-back that's kind of taken Jagielka's place, I suppose, in England, set up John Stones. You had him for a couple of years. What do you make of John Stones?
I like him.
And be honest, I know he's left you now, be honest. There was a point where Everton fans loved him.
Yeah.
He reads the game better than like a lot of other players, where he won't get himself into battles with headers because he'll make that move to intercept the ball beforehand. But when he's on the ball, sometimes he's a time bomb. I mean, he hit a ball yesterday and he passed it to Dyer and hit him there on the edge of the box.
Dyer had to go.
I saw that.
Dyer had to go home, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's a good player. He lacks aggression. I don't think he's going to get that with Guardiola.
Sorry, I'm being shouted at my ear that I've got to interrupt. We're going to let you go.
All right, no
absolutely flew by. What's the score going to be this weekend?
2-0.
2-0. Yeah,
2-0. 2-0.
Yeah.
Right, cheers guys. Thank you. We will see you in just a sec. Hi there, we have said goodbye to the Toffees on the lime green sofa. Looking forward to another Premier League weekend coming back. Next up, it is time for my favourite married couple. Jack and James from Football Fancast will be here with their picks in just a moment. And at 8:30, it's our old friends Crab and Goyle, aka Dom and James, our West Ham fans. They'll be joining me on the lime green sofa. And at 9 o'clock, we say ciao and benvenuto to our Italian expert and all-round nice chap, Gianluca, talking everything Serie A. And at 9:30, taking us all the way to the end, we are joined by a couple of Crystal Palace fans, Nick and Jel, to round things off. All that plus our regular guest, Clinton Ford, our man about Toon, coming up a bit later on. But right now, let's get Jack and James out from Football Fancast. Come on, chaps. Hello, hello. Good to see you.
Hello, mate.
How are we?
I'm
How
good,
are
thank
we?
you. I'm very
You weren't
good.
with me last week, were you?
I wasn't, no.
Where were you?
I was on holiday, per se. I was back down
Didn't fancy getting a tan?
pretending to be a student.
Oh, right.
He just milked his graduation for a week. That's all.
He milked your graduation for a week, yeah?
Fair play.
Well, congratulations on graduating, mate.
Thank you.
That's all right. Any time. What did you get?
2-1.
2-1. That's called bare minimum. That's what that is. Bare minimum.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. We're in
Journalism.
Journalism. God, I've seen him on this show. No chance. Right.
Wow. We've been telling out. I don't know why we employ him.
Yeah. I pick and choose who I'm going to be mean to, and it seems to be Jack this week. I don't know why. It
makes a change.
When you sit down, I just pick one, and it's and there we go.
I'll see you later, then.
Yeah, see you. Right, we've had a good run. No, let's talk fantasy football. Premier League's back. How exciting is that as well?
Thank God.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
The trouble is, though, I mean, it just means West Ham will probably lose again, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
Surely you're used to it by now.
I'm kind of used to it this season, but these guys feel it as well, don't they?
Yeah, we've got a couple of West Ham fans coming on a bit later on.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll.
been dreading it a little bit.
I'm sure they'll agree with you. Let's get straight into it. We've got less time together nowadays. We've got less time together, so let's get straight into it. I am going to start with fantasy football. You've done Diego Costa replacements, which we can have a look at now. There should be a slide for it. Talk about the reasoning behind these.
Well, he picked up a knock, didn't he?
Yeah.
Before the international break, I think. I'm not entirely sure how long he's out for, but I think you start with Kane. He's back in the fold now. And I think really, he normally starts slow every season.
Yeah.
But I think, they should score this weekend. They've got very easy opponents. So he should be all right
that
this
was his
weekend.
choice putting Kane in this, because I would never have done that. He's done it behind my back.
But just to have a dig about the fact that they're playing West Ham on the weekend.
Yeah,
fair enough. This man not had a great season by his standard, well, compared to last season, but scored for England. Do you reckon that could be the boost Jamie Vardy needs?
That's it. I think he went 14 games for club and country without a goal. And he's got off the mark again a little bit, and he did the mannequin for his celebration.
Yeah.
I saw someone tweet that it looks like he'd be doing a mannequin for the last 14 weeks.
It's the most he's moved in the box.
That's not my joke. I saw someone tweet that, so I'm not claiming that one. But,
definitely claim it.
But I mean, now he's got off the mark for England. He might start banging them in for Leicester.
Yeah.
Just needs a bit of confidence.
I hope so. For some reason, I always just want to see Jamie Vardy do well. Also, the film that's coming out of him is going to be rubbish if he stops scoring goals.
It's going to be rubbish anyway.
It's going to be rubbish anyway, isn't it? Yeah. Jermaine Defoe and Romelu Lukaku, they've been doing it for years now, it feels like.
Yeah, of course they have. And Sunderland, whether they win or lose, they've got Hull this weekend, so you can't. It's a really tough one to call. Had a really, really hard opponents. Obviously,
feels like a 6 point to 12 games.
They managed to beat Southampton the weekend before last, which is obviously a mean feat for any team. You didn't quite manage it. But whether they win or lose, Defoe's going to pick you up points, and you think against someone like Hull, he should be able to get 1 or 2.
Yeah, and Lukaku's just scores goals.
He's just Lukaku, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's just really good.
He's fit, he scores.
Yeah, good point. I won't argue with that. You've also got some top 3 picks, which are points per 90 minutes. So these were interesting when I saw these earlier. Some surprise names on there. So did he ever say in getting that name on there as well?
This is all statistical. I promise you, I did the research.
I did not know you put him in there.
Highest points per 90 in the Premier League. No, see, that's the point. They don't always start. When they're on the pitch, they get you points.
Great.
I mean, you could talk it through, Will Prowse, if you want.
No, you go on. You crack on.
No, I just think, he's always been the sort of player that has never quite... Like every year, someone's fans say, it's Will Prowse's year.
I mean, we touched on Ross Barkley. Is there a danger? He's a lot younger.
Yeah, he's
getting to the point where we're waiting for that season to come along.
He's just turned 22, I think, and I think he does need that season. But he sort of broke out the first season we were back in the Premier League, which, about 5 years ago now, which is starting very young, really.
Yeah.
And I think we were having the discussion in the office earlier, like, players break out earlier and earlier nowadays. And 22 is still a youngster, really, in terms of the spectrum of a player's career. So he's got a long way to go.
I think sometimes you see the likes of Messi and co and think they should be world class by the time they're 19. But you should remember that he's a freak.
Yeah, exactly. He's only 22. And,
this guy, I wasn't surprised to see his name on the list. Iheanacho just scores goals, doesn't he? Comes off the bench and scores goals.
Comes off the bench and scores goals. I think his game time has improved under Guardiola. And this year especially, he'll benefit from Aguero. So he's in and out of injury, isn't he, Aguero? So he may even start a lot of games as well. So, and that average there is probably down to him filling in for Aguero and producing at the same time. They've got a decent backup
and Pedro as well, who's had a bit of a resurgence under Conte, back in the Chelsea fold.
He's sort of come into his own under Conte a bit, really. I think when they brought him in, there was a lot of excitement around him, and rightly so. He's a brilliant player, but sort of disappeared a bit, really, as soon as he came in. Had a good couple of games to start, and then went under the radar.
I think if he recreates remotely a little bit of his Barcelona form, then he could definitely be worth getting in.
Even his form in the last few weeks has been brilliant. I mean, I know the goal against United was bad defending, but you've got to be in the right place. You've got to be able to finish it. And 5 assists is no sort of lucky streak. That's a good point scoring.
No, I think he's really enjoying the new system a bit, like Eden Hazard is as well. You did a slide here as well. I only have a look at the slides before you guys arrive, and I have no idea why you've put them up. But let's have a look. Aguero, Austin, and Sturridge. Oh no, not that one. Well, we can do this. We can do this one as well. Then we'll do this one as well.
This one.
Sorry, top 3 picks, points of money. Actually, this is the correct one. I wanted to talk about this one first. My one concern with this, when I had a look at this earlier, Capoue and Joe Allen, they've scored all their goals for the season, haven't they? They scored them. They're never going to go on a streak like that, are they?
We never know, do you, really? I mean, Capoue surprised everyone at the beginning of the season, and Allen has kind of come into his own. I think you need to leave Liverpool to really sort of break out and be the player that he wants to be. So, but I mean, just in terms of their price, this is the point of it. The price, so cheap, but they're still going to be producing points. There's not on this infographic, but I mean, I think they've all collected a decent amount of bonus points between them as well. And that's not necessarily down to goals and assists, that's just down to overall performance. So, I mean, they're point scorers for relatively
and they
little
are
outlay.
cheap. And the guy at the end, I think he's a great choice, and I've made too many subs to put him in, but now I'm thinking, if he didn't have such a horrible name, I'd have him at the start, because everything that goes through Hull is going to go through Robert Snodgrass, isn't it?
He's such a clinical part of the way they play, and if they do well, he's undoubtedly either got a goal or assist. I think teams like that are very much, if they get one win under their belt, they form a bit of a streak, because that's how the Championship works. They come up for that, they're used to that. So I think maybe, the confidence boost of beating a great team like Southampton
to almost bring him in for a more expensive player and then use that to go and get a beast in somewhere. I don't think it's a bad shout at all.
Definitely not.
Got to make you 2 subs though. I'll think about it. And we've got your suggestion for game week 12 as well, I think. Your combined,
our team, yes.
Combined team. Here we go. So this is your combined 11.
We've played our wild card this week as well.
You're playing your wild card this week, which is interesting. I mean, I guess it's getting to that time of year now where you've got to start thinking about it, because you get a new one in January. I mean, I can't argue with anyone on there, really. I mean, that midfield in particular, it's just form players you've gone for, isn't it? Which is almost the key.
That, and we've looked at fixtures coming up as well.
Yeah.
We've got like 8 game weeks before the new wildcard comes in. So we've looked at fixtures that are coming.
I've noticed Kyle Walker as well, maybe the exception, but you two don't always go chasing clean sheets of your defenders as much, do you? In fact, you've got 3 guys there, Gibson, Pickford and Daniels, who half say maybe are unlikely to keep clean sheets.
There's no value in it this year.
Really?
I think the last Premier League game week, there was 1 clean sheet, and that was Chelsea.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I mean, it's not. I was
I've learnt my defenders are getting me nothing this year.
I mean, there's far more value in your midfield and your strikers this year. So, I mean, Walker's the highest scoring defender. It's worth having him in there. But
Tottenham are one of the few teams that will actually keep some clean sheets. And FanDuel as well. We've got your Man United, Arsenal combined 11 for FanDuel, which I like this. I mean, obviously these guys are playing on the weekend. That's your reasoning behind this. Is this in terms of in real life, who you think the quality is, or this is for FanDuel? This is the team.
So this is sort of the best team you can get out of both sides in terms of FanDuel.
Okay.
And it's sort of FanDuel. We've said before that you can just play for the Saturday. You can just play for the Sunday or even Monday. I mean, it's not a great game on Monday, but you can play if you want to.
But you've got far too much spare time.
But I mean, there's plenty of players here in every position, from both sides that you can consider just for your Saturday team. So that's sort of the thinking behind
There are points to be had across the board in terms of like completed passes, shots on target, goals, interceptions, tackles. There's points to be had.
It's interesting to see Ibrahimovic so close to Alexis Sanchez on average points there as well, considering the slump that Ibrahimovic had. It goes to show that by his standards, the slumps.
He gets a lot of shots on target though.
Yes.
And you get 5 points for a shot on target, 15 for a goal.
Yeah.
So every time someone scores, you're getting 20 points.
Yeah.
He's trying hard, bless him.
Bless him.
Yeah, he's doing his bit.
He's giving it a good go. And yeah, the Austin, Aguero and Sturridge slide that you sent in.
So
this is all I saw.
These
and I was
three-
worried that it was you going to abuse Daniel Sturridge's stats there at the end.
These three were all equal for shots on target last weekend,
Oh,
which is
really?
sort of the thing behind, balancing them up together. I mean, Austin's up against Liverpool, easy defence to get through.
It
in
is.
my eyes. And it's just shown that, Aguero and Sturridge are two players that you consider to be, I'll spend a bit of money on them, but you can get, equal value from, if you look slightly further down at your sort of West Ham, Southamptons.
Yeah, I mean, this surprised me. Chances created 11 for Sergio Aguero because I normally associate him as a guy who's very much comes alive in the final third, but that suggests his link-up play was excellent.
Right, yeah, I think that's part of Guardiola's system as well. Sort of everyone's involved, aren't they? It's very similar to Liverpool, really. They've got a very fluid attacking style.
Yeah, and Sturridge, is he worth getting in? Is he going to come good this season?
No,
I see you shaking your head.
He'll be a West Ham player by January, won't he, apparently?
By the sound of things.
And he'll probably get injured straight after that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much faith in him, to be fair.
That's quite good for West Ham. They normally sign them injured. To sign them and then get injured would be an improvement in your transfer policy.
Well, we did that with AU this year.
Yeah.
But I just don't think, under Klopp, he's not doing great.
No.
His injury record isn't great either, so...
I think, sad to say, I don't know if Daniel Sturridge will ever be the player that we saw a few years ago.
No, it might be about time.
Really. He came off the bench against Watford and looked good. I think he got the assist when he came off the bench, but is that what he's going to be now as a bench player?
Yeah, and I do worry about that. Guys, that is literally all the time we have now. It's a new short section.
I know.
It's a shame. I'm going to miss you guys. We'll be back in next Wednesday.
Yeah. We will.
We will for another catch up, and we'll abuse your predictions.
We'll finally have some Premier League football to talk
about. We have got a couple of games that we're playing here tonight on Fan TV at Fan TV UK, and I've absolutely no idea what they are, but I've been told in my ear that we have games to play here on Fan TV. So there you go, guys. If you want games, apparently we've got them, right? Keep tweeting us at Fan TV UK, and we will see you in just a sec. Cheers. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212, Facebook and YouTube. Thank you to Jack and James with their predictions for fantasy football ahead of the Premier League weekend. We're going to get some more fans here on the lime green sofa. It is our West Ham fans. Crab and Goyle. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Hello, mate. Good to see you, bud. How you been? All right? Good to see you, mate. How are we doing? Take a seat. Take a seat. It didn't move. It didn't move.
Yes.
It didn't move. It didn't move.
Just our luck.
Good, just our luck. Exactly. Give it time, though. We've got half an hour together. It can easily go over the back before we're done. Exactly, just about. How you been, chaps?
Very well.
Yeah?
Got the win after we last saw you.
Yeah.
And then it all came crashing down.
He got very excited.
To Everton, Lukaku,
Jesus.
another victim.
Happened again, then it happened again.
9 in 9. Just our luck.
9 against you. I mean, is that one of those where it's such an anomaly? Oh, here we go. Oh, there's been a goal. There's been a goal.
There's a new thing.
I can tell you that because there's no good games going on tonight, we're going to be across the other goals going in. And in the Press and Journal Highland League, Keith are 1-0 down to Bucky Thistle. So, and that's been scored by Urquhart. Well done, guys. Well done, guys.
Tim Pot while we're doing
this. Guys, that's right. Bucky Thistle are 1-0 up away at Keith, and as the goals go in, we'll keep you right across that. So don't worry about that.
I thought you said Monkey Thistle.
Monkey Thistle. No, they're 2-1 down. They're 2-1 down.
Very strange name for a football team.
Strange group.
Like Keith just can't get any wins at the minute, can they? Bucky Thistle playing all right, but Keith just can't get any goals going at the minute.
Who?
You're looking at me, the made up the team that we just talked about. You look at they're real. They're a real team.
Nah, they're not.
No, they're not.
I've heard of Lusitans and all that. Never heard of them lot. That's only because we played them. We probably lose to them.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way you're playing at the minute, the way it's going at the minute. Yeah, you've won a game.
Score against Astragugu, so you never know.
Astragugu. Oh.
Another goal.
It's Tim Pot.
This is actually quite a good game. This one.
Come back.
Gillingham have scored in the FA Cup.
Is it 2-2?
2-2 now.
2-0
away at Brackley Town. 2-2. Hesson Teller with his second goal of the game, which is actually genuinely quite an interesting game.
Yeah,
so Brackley are 2-2
we've heard of.
with Gillingham. Come on, Brackley Town. Come on, Brackley Town.
Gillingham.
Gillingham and Astragugu. So Astragugu, isn't that like an 80s band?
No, it's the
It's the team we lost to.
It's the team we lost to.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think we're saying it right. Astragugu.
Is it Astragugu?
Zuzu. I just said Gugu because I was really annoyed.
Whatever helps.
They're a parody club.
Just before the international break, your last result was that you drew 1-1 with Stoke. You've had a few draws at home. Just it's the win that seems to be the problem.
What was it? Bournemouth first game of the season was a win.
Yeah.
And Sunderland.
Yeah. Chelsea was a good win.
In the cup.
Yeah.
Then you've drawn with Stoke, drawn with
Middlesbrough. In between.
Yeah, and I think that might be the lot.
That's it. Yeah, we've lost everywhere else.
Yeah.
If Adrian weren't such an idiot, we would have won that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Three times he came out of the box, and the third time, just bad. Shocking.
Shocking. Like you don't come out like that. I mean, he got away with it, as James said. He got away with it twice before. So you're thinking, if it's too close shave, you don't do it again.
You don't do it again after the first one, not a second one.
Yeah, I know. Idiot. Absolute fault. We could have really done with that win because we've got a tough stretch of games coming up now.
Yeah,
starting with the weekend.
Tottenham away.
That lot away.
At 5:30 Saturday, that lot away.
That lot.
Man United away and Man United away in the cup as well. Then Arsenal at home and then Liverpool away.
Yep.
So nice, easy run of games.
The weekend more than Liverpool.
Liverpool should be a great weekend.
Yeah, exactly. You're going up.
Not so much a game.
Yeah, you're going up. That's a great place. Great place to go for a night out.
That's my birthday that weekend as well.
Yeah. So it will be a very encouraging one. You're 17th. You got that run of
We're always
up.
17th.
You had quite a good season last season.
We had a magical season last year. All clicked with the final season at Bowling Ground. But it's the West Ham DNA. We have one good season, then we have about 5 poor ones, certain scraps of relegation, certain flirts with relegation.
I mean, that's really the question here. You're 17th with that run of games. Are you in a relegation scrap?
No. Well, possibly. I don't know. I don't want to think so.
That was the least convincing answer.
I don't want to think so because of the squad we've got. But
I think it all comes down to Tottenham, really.
The way we play, no. We are not playing well.
Really?
We've won a few, but 2 of those wins, we were poor.
I mean, I want to ask, in footballing terms, where it's going wrong. The reason I ask that is there's been a lot made about the move to a new ground. But at the same time, you've only won 1 game away from home. So there must be something going wrong. At the end of the day, once they get out there, it's 22 blokes kicking a football around the pitch. Are you seeing anything in the style of playing football in terms? Why are West Ham?
We don't have a
not
striker.
performing? Really?
We don't have a striker. That's the bottom line. When we lost to Everton a couple of weeks ago, it was a really tight, even game. We had a few chances to go in front.
The first 40 minutes was anyone's game.
Exactly. But they have Lukaku. Who do we have? Zaza. What's that? That's the golfing class.
Yeah.
Zaza's gone. He's finished. He'll be gone by January.
Yeah, that is the expectation. So obviously Carroll's injured.
Yeah.
Ayu's injured, although we're hoping.
He's back.
Yeah, he's going to be back. Yeah. He's going to be back, isn't he? Now
he is back.
Oh, he's fully fit.
He started the last game.
He started the last one. Perfect. So Zaza's got 5 games left before he triggers a £20 million.
No, he hasn't. He's only got 1 apparently.
Really?
And he's not going to. You won't see him again.
Evening Standard today, they reckon 5, which is why you're going in for Daniel Sturridge in January.
We won't sign Sturridge.
No,
not with our owners.
£28 million they're saying for Daniel Sturridge.
Is it 28 million? Well, we won't sign. We won't sign him because of the owners. They take too long signing strikers, and they'll end up with someone poor. I have no faith in them signing strikers. I'm sorry, I've got no faith in them.
Did you? The owners are taking a lot of flack this season, and quite rightly so. I think it's fair to say. Has it been exaggerated by the move to the new ground? I've not always felt so much aggro towards the West Ham owners, or has that been under the surface? Do you think it was maybe masked by performances on the pitch last season?
Last season certainly, but you sort of get the feeling they've revealed their true colours and it's moving. The way they treat the fans, the working class, is disgusting, and it really makes my blood boil. They want the working class out and the sandwich munchers in.
Yeah, they would love someone to come up, pay £150 a ticket every single Saturday, than everyone that was at the bowling seasons ago older and now at the Olympic Stadium. They'd write their money.
Yeah. I mean, no, I completely agree. I think the way they've
They
treated
are,
West Ham fans is shocking.
they are everything that's wrong with modern football, people like that. And Karen Brady actually came out after the Stoke draw. She said something like, West Ham didn't get the home win, but there was no crowd trouble, and that's the real result. That's a disgrace.
That is really.
That's an absolute disgrace.
Really.
It's outrageous.
That is scary, isn't it? That they
it shows how much they care, really.
And it just shows how out of touch they are with the way that football fans think. I think that's the key.
It seems like they've got their stadium and
they ain't football people.
They don't care.
Goal can bang on all he wants about. I grew up opposite the old bowling ground. I'm a West Ham boy through and through. He only took over the club nearly 7 years ago. And he has no connection with the fans. If he's a West Ham boy, share your thoughts with the fans, connect with the fans, treat them like human beings with respect. Don't milk us dry.
Do you see, what's it going to take to turn around that at West Ham? Can you see anything happening?
We all know what it's going to take, a striker. That's what we need.
On the pitch, and then do you think...
On the pitch, yeah.
And then...
It brings on a positive atmosphere to the fans.
But off the pitch, they've got to go. They're
Really?
finished here. They've outgrown the club.
Really?
The club has outgrown them. It's like previous managers like Big Sam. His time came to an end. It's time for them to pack up and go. I've had enough of them, and a lot of the fans have had enough of them. And there's no connection. There's no relationship with the owners and the fans. They're finished. They've got the stadium now. I think they'll make profit from this season with the stadium and all the revenue, and then they'll sit up and retire.
I mean, you must be quite an attractive proposition to buy if you're a businessman, West Ham, with the brand new stadium and, great fan base already in place and stuff. I guess it can't be a hard club to sell, surely.
Well, I don't know about that, because there's nothing ever easy with West Ham.
You'll find a way to make it difficult, will you? You'll find a way to make it difficult. That's the boardroom. On the pitch, Dimitri Payet, I mean, is he kind of a microcosm of what's going wrong at West Ham at the minute? He's not having a great season, and a lot of players aren't having good seasons.
Are we allowed to talk about Payet?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because there was quite a lot of stick going about the other week for someone slating Payet, wasn't there?
Your fault, Jamie Hill. No, listen. Payet is... Well, it goes without saying Payet isn't the player he was last season. But then he ain't the only one. The whole team's been poor.
Noble's been... I think Noble's... He is good. He's still playing well, but he's been very poor from what he was last season anyway.
We all knew it. We all knew it because we've signed too many players who ain't good enough.
Torre.
He'll be finished. I see something the other day. Someone actually put on a tweet saying something about our best lineup when everyone's fit. There was one signing in there, one new signing from the summer, Andre Ayew. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Too many. We signed too many nobodies.
Yeah.
And what was the question about Pyatt, wasn't it? Yeah. Listen, he's still a great player. He can pull things like a rabbit out of the hat at times. He's superb. However, he hasn't got the ability or the leadership to carry a team, and that's what's lacking. He isn't performing well because players around him aren't performing up to the standards. And he is getting too much stick. With France, brilliant. He's surrounded by Pogba.
Smashing him in.
He's West Ham. I mean, I love Noble, but you can't really compare Noble to Pogba. He's got Pogba. He's got Griezmann instead of Zaza up front in the France team. He's got it all made up for him. Here, it's a little bit harder because the players aren't good enough, and he hasn't got the leadership or possibly the class to carry a team like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs players. The other players have got to step up because I don't like the stick he's getting, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's not all on Dimitri Payet. You are correct about that. We're going to take a quick break, but before then, we are going to play for the first time tonight a round of Kim, Kim or Kim. Yes. So if you are new to this game, you just saw the three lovely Kims there. Some lovelier than others, I have to admit. Kim Kardashian, Kim Jong-un and Kim Kallstrom. And we simply give you a clue and then you have to tell us which Kim the answer is. So the clue tonight is which of these Kims claimed that they drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine with one evening meal? Which Kim claimed they drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine with one evening meal? Is it Kim Jong-un, Kim Kardashian or Kim Kallstrom? Let us know on Twitter at FanTVUK. Any ideas on the sofas?
Is it one of them three?
It's one of those three,
Just one of them three.
We didn't just flash their pictures up just to kill some time.
Well, last time it was another one, I swear.
Oh, yeah, it was actually, yeah.
It was,
last time it was Kim Marsh.
Street,
Yeah, it was Kim Marsh last time.
That's right, yeah.
You had the break to think about it. We'll come back after the break. And I've got some half-time scores as well. Half-time in the Lowland League games. I can tell you that East Kilbride are 1-0 up against the Civil Service Strollers. And that was scored by Vittoria. And it was a penalty. We'll keep you across all the big games and all the big goals as they go on, as ever, on Fan TV. Gotta love an international break, don't you? We will see you in just a sec. Hi there. Before the break, we played the first round of Kim, Kim or Kim for the evening, where we asked you which Kim claimed that they drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine with one evening meal. Which Kim drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine with one evening meal? Is it Kim Kardashian, Kim Jong-un or Kim Kallstrom? If you think you know the answer, tweet us at FanTV UK. You're correct in saying that last time I had you on, we played Kim or Kim, and then we threw a curveball, and the answer was Kim Marsh. Yeah. Won't happen again. I promise it's one of those Kims this
I'm
time.
going to cheat us, are you, Toby?
You don't trust me anymore, no?
No.
No, not at all. You ever done 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine?
I don't even drink wine.
10 bottles of Blossom Hill?
I haven't even had a glass of wine.
No.
10 bottles.
No.
Horrible stuff. Tastes like vinegar.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm more of a White Lightning man, but that's just me. Yeah, that's just me. But,
probably Kim K.
Kim K. Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Oh, there's two, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Kim Kallstrom and Kim K.
I'm going to say Kallstrom.
You're going to say Kallstrom?
Yeah.
Well, since he's retired, just loving it up.
Nah, Kim
Going on a mad one.
Kardashian, right? Well, we'll reveal the answer a bit later on. We'll reveal the answer. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. England have been playing, unfortunately, during the international break. No Mark Noble, but as you say, if he's never been in before, he's not going to get in on this season. Aaron Cresswell, we touched on earlier, made his debut last night for about 10 minutes. Getting a bit of stick. Feel sorry for him?
It weren't his fault. It was John Stone. What's he doing in that position?
Yeah. It was an odd sub. I mean, he's an attacking fullback. He probably came on. Do you think there was an element of him trying to impress a bit too much in 10 minutes?
Probably, but if you're holding on for it, if you're trying to sharp shop against this team like Spain, you don't bring him on.
Yeah.
You don't. He's not the player you want to hold on to a lead. You bring on like another defender, another centre back or something, not like an attacking fullback. Saying that though, he can defend. I mean, we watched him since he's come back for West Ham. We have looked better with him defensive wise.
Yeah, immeasurably better. We'll come back to Aaron Cresswell in a sec. Right now, though, ahead of the weekend, we have a Spurs fan on Skype for you guys to enjoy. Look how happy they are. It's Johnny Vance, our Spurs fan. Hello, Johnny. How you doing, mate? All right?
How you doing, Toby? You all right?
Yes, very, very well. Thank you. Good to see from you. Good to hear from you, and good to see you. I think is how that expression goes. How you been keeping? You been struggling with the international break?
Oh God, it's painful, isn't it? It's just absolutely, it's terrible. When we went 2-0 up last night, I thought to myself, do you know what? I don't even want us to win this. It's like I don't even want to win friendlies anymore.
Really?
It was just another false dawn, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm glad that they equalised, just to show up that maybe we need some fresh blood and we need something different.
Yeah, I played football last night, and as soon as I got off from playing, we checked the score, and all of us, when we saw it as 2-0, went, oh, for God's sake. Because you know that England do this all the time in friendlies and qualifiers, and then you know the major tournament, it all counts for nothing. I think you're spot on, Johnny. However, not to worry, the Premier League is back this weekend, and it doesn't get much tastier than Tottenham versus West Ham at 5:30 on a Saturday afternoon. Are you excited about the game, Johnny?
I am. I cannot wait to get started with the league against some actual proper football. I'm well up for the game, but I'm a little bit nervous because it's West Ham and it's another derby for us. Obviously, we've had Arsenal the week before last, and next week we've got Chelsea. I'm worried about this one. I don't think Tottenham or West Ham have really got started really this season. They've shown flashes of good play, but I think both sets of fans are going to be are pretty frustrated really.
Is it one of the first fixtures you look out for, Tottenham away, or is that lot, as you refer to them?
Actually, you don't have to because it's always in November.
Yeah.
Is it?
Every time it's the same weekend as last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got to love Spurs away.
Yeah, it's a great ground to go to from an away
perspective. Yeah, when you mention the ground, it's a little bit sad because it's the last time we're going to go at White Hart Lane the only time really as West Ham fans. It's like, it reminds me a bit of the bowling ground. Like, it's a football ground, proper football ground, nice little area as well. Proper footballing area, and it's like another victim of modern football, you sort of feel. So it's a little bit sad to see White Hart Lane go, but I won't be saying that if we nick a win there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Or if they spank you 5-0, you definitely won't miss it.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Does that worry you a bit hearing that, Johnny, about the stadium move? Is there part of you that's going to miss White Hart Lane? I mean, we've already seen your Wembley Champions League nights. You've struggled a bit.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the nostalgic side of it, I am going to miss it. I went there, I think when I was 11 was my first game with my mates. So
Did you have hair back then?
Part of my life.
Did you have hair back then, Johnny, when you were 11?
Just about. It was the dregs.
It was starting to fit on top. Oh no, but you're right. It's a proper football ground as well, isn't it? It's narrow, it's restricted
good
seating.
Atmosphere as well.
Great atmosphere.
Good
great
atmosphere. It was last year when we went. That was only because they were beating us 4-1. I don't know if it was the other way around.
Whether it would be quite the same. It's a tough one. West Ham are obviously really struggling at the moment. Tottenham not pulling up any trees, 5 draws in a row in the Premier League as well. I mean, you've got to say West Ham's, this is the game that you've got to be winning the way they're playing at the minute.
Well, at home, considering the kind of targets that we're setting for ourselves, we need to be trying to beat everyone at home. So, not least West Ham. And the thing is, West Ham are difficult because, it's a derby and they've got a couple of really special players. So it's one that I'm not going to be putting too many bets on. I'd take a 1-0 all day.
Yeah. Harry Kane as well. He was sent home early from England, which was very nice of Gareth Southgate. If you're a Spurs fan, expecting him to start, I presume, and how important is he going to be to the rest of the season?
I think massive. It's no coincidence that we started this kind of dodgy run, kind of coincided with his injury. Son looked like he was going to step up and score some goals, but I think he's so integral to the way that we play. Everything really goes through him in the end, and we started stuttering, and we started, starting to draws and stuff. And I think with what the fella said a few minutes ago, the fact that they haven't got a really out-and-out quality striker, and the fact that we have, I think could well be the difference between the sides on Saturday.
You can have Simone Zaza. Can they have Simone Zaza?
They're welcome. Well, I'll pay them 28 million to have him.
He's right there, though, isn't he? I mean, you guys have touched on how much you're missing a striker this season.
Well, he says that. When we beat them 3-0 at the Lane a couple of years ago, we didn't have a striker on the pitch.
Was that when Ravel Morrison ran the pitch and dinked it over the keeper? Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, like you say, they ain't been pulling up any trees lately. We tend to play well against Tottenham. Apart from that result, the 4-1 last season, previous few meetings, we've done well. We beat them twice at the Lane a couple of years ago. We should have killed them off the following season, and obviously we beat them for the last time at Upton Park. So yeah, the occasion gets the players, and I really hope they turn up. Obviously, they should do as well, because it's the last time at White Hart Lane for us going there. So you think you want to sort of spoil the party a bit?
Is it in a weird way? Because obviously Tottenham away is a tough fixture in anyone's book, especially the last couple of years. They've been immense. But in a weird way, with West Ham not playing well, are these almost the big games, almost the ones that you can actually go and get a result in?
I think over the past next couple of weeks, we've got a lot of big games. If we win against Tottenham, hoping, I reckon that will sort of set the tone for the next couple of games. If we lose, then obviously we're going to be a downer, and then United away, it's not going to be easy. And then again away on the Wednesday in the Cup. But I'd probably say that Tottenham at the minute have the best back four in the league.
Yeah, they don't concede
with
many.
With Vertonghen and Alderweireld, probably the best partnership.
Yeah.
We beat a lot of big teams last season as well. We beat United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, all in the same season last year. Yet we struggled against the lesser sides, in all due respect. Maybe it'll happen again, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
it's like the bloke said, it's one of those games you don't want to put a bet on. It's a half five.
Yeah,
it's on the box.
It is. Well, the bloke. Just before we let you go, Blokey McBlokerson. Got any predictions for the game this weekend?
Yeah, I think it'll be a tasty one.
I can maybe see them maybe pinching a goal, but I don't think they'll score more than one, and I think we're going to nick a couple of goals. I see 2-1 Tottenham. Like the boys said, I think any team that wins this could be buzzing. We've both got a lot of games coming up, so I think both teams will look to get a result here. But I think I see us nicking it 2-1.
The boy, what do he reckons 2-1 Spurs? What do you reckon?
I think the bloke. The bloke's got a good point there, but the boy is obviously going to stick to his West Ham roots. Nick a 1-0 win late on. If we soak up pressure and frustrate them, then there's every chance we can nick it.
And the boys, mate.
I was going to ask it. I was going to ask who I am.
Goyle.
Yeah, Goyle. I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham. I'm going to say 1-0 late goal from West Ham.
There we go.
Be my eagle all over again.
Yeah.
Right, Modibo Maiga. God, there's a name I wasn't expecting to hear on a Wednesday night. Jonathan, mate, thank you very much. Always good to hear from you. Thank you very much, mate.
Right, fellas, Expelliarmus.
The first Harry Potter gag of the night, apart from us repeatedly calling you Crab and Goyle. But both confident about West Ham. Is that heart or head?
A little bit of both, really.
Yeah, a bit of both.
It's just typical West Ham. We always do stuff like this.
We turn up, don't we? We turn up.
Yeah, we
for a
turn
big
up
game.
when we least expect it, and that's half the fun of supporting it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I've got a sneaky feeling. I don't know if you could win it. Don't know if you could win it.
I'll take a point, no doubt, because
Yeah.
Tottenham are a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a point, but a win I'll be.
Yeah, you'd be ecstatic. It'd be a good short journey home as well. Predictions for the rest of the season. Only got a couple of minutes to go until we're going to let you go. Predictions for the rest of the season. You don't think you're in a relegation battle?
I
because of
don't
your
know
team.
if we're in a relegation battle.
Are you afraid of the old "we're too good to go down" mentality?
Listen. No one. That's no such thing. If your team don't step up and play, then you deserve to go down. You can have Messi and Ronaldo on that pitch. You don't step up and play, then you might as well go down.
Ask Newcastle fans the last few years.
Yeah, their squad last year ridiculously good. Went down. But listen, we need to get a striker that can score goals because it's gone on for far too long now. We haven't had one since, I'd say, Demba Ba probably, and he was only with us for 6 months. So we've got to get that striker situation sorted. We've got to get players playing better. Be all right.
Be all right. Where do you reckon you're going to finish?
Mid-table.
Mid-table, yeah. Only if we get a striker. If we don't get a striker in January, then we'll 100% be in a relegation battle.
I think give Simone Zaza his game. Pay 20 million.
No,
Could be fun.
Chance, no chance. Not a chance. He's had it.
I'd rather support Tottenham.
And you don't you know that sofa's going to go over the back. Right, we have been keeping you across all the huge games going on tonight during this international break.
Keith.
And the latest scores, come on Keith, cry from the lime green sofa. Full-time scores here from the Women's Champions League. I can tell you that Lyon Feminines, 9. FC Zurich Frauen, 0. Too many scorers to mention in that one. 9-0 to the Lyon Feminines and FC Zurich Frauen. No goals for them. Did you have money on that? A bet on that?
Didn't even know it was taking place. I do know, though, Lyon are probably the best team in women's football. Or something
Yeah,
like
they are ridiculously good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Did you had a flutter on that?
Yeah, I'll have to check it after. I'm going to get some internet outside.
Perfect. Right, guys, good to see you again. Thank you very much for coming back on. Best of luck for this weekend. Do Liverpool a favour as well. Coming up, Gianluca, one of our fan favourites, is going to be on the sofa in just a sec. Cheers, guys.
No worries, mate.
Good to see you again. I'm guessing you're going tomorrow? Saturday.
Oh, yeah,
Thinking it's Friday night.
I'm busy Saturday.
Oh, really?
Lovely telly. Cheers, mate.
Here we go. Cheers, guys. Enjoy Liverpool if I don't see you before. I went up to the Watford game last weekend.
That's good. Yeah,
I went up. It's a heavy weekend as well. It's such a good city, Liverpool. Fucking night out class. We were class, mate. We were class. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's worth that. Right, cheers, boys. Have a good one. Are you off? Nice to meet you, mate. All the rest will get you back on as well.
Yeah, thank you.
When we're doing our Cheltenham Town special.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Kenny, mate. We've got Gianluca on now, yeah? Am I right in saying we have a Skype call in this section? Oh, nice. I've been told by my producer that I don't smile enough sometimes, so I'm trying to over-exaggerate my smiles over the next. So in the next hour, you might see me smiling loads. Hi there, welcome back to Fan TV. We're all having a wonderful time. And Gianluca is going to come and join in the merriment and fun that we're having on the lime green sofa. Come on, Gianluca. Hello, mate. How you doing? All right?
Good.
Good to see you.
If you continue to smile that bit too much, I might have to sit on that.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy,
there.
wasn't it? I don't think I'm going to go back to being miserable, frankly. I prefer it that
it's
way.
All right, it's good.
How you been?
Not bad. Long time no see. 7 days.
About a week, yeah.
Long time in Craig David's land, so
yeah. Exactly. He gets a lot achieved in 7 days.
I mean,
I've achieved nothing.
No,
you?
not me, but nothing.
Yeah, me neither. International break.
Nothing.
The world just comes to a standstill, doesn't it, really? You are an Italian football expert.
Apparently.
You're a resident Italian football expert. Well, that remains to be seen, but we've heard rumours that you know stuff about it. The international break, obviously. We just talked a lot about England earlier, and Raj is going to Skype us in as well, talk a bit more about England in a sec. But first of all, I mean, a good international break, really.
Very good international break
for
for
the
Italy,
Italian team. Yeah, won 4-0 away at Liechtenstein, which very much to be expected, but you can only beat what's put in front of you. Also, you don't associate ever a drubbing with Italy, no matter who they're playing.
I mean, Italy don't score more than 2 goals in a game.
Ever.
I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was a mistake just reading everything. I was watching Twitter as it went all the goals were going in. Four goals in the first 25 minutes or something.
Was it?
It was ridiculous, or 40 minutes. It was, They needed to score as many goals as possible because Spain are running away with the group at the moment on goal difference because they beat Macedonia 4-0 on Friday. But a really, really good run out, especially for a few of the good young players, Andrea Bellotti, who we've talked about on this city plenty of times, is a Torino man, the main striker for Italy at the moment, needs to be leading the line from now on. Obviously, got Verratti back in midfield and Bonucci and Buffon at the back. Really good spine now to this Italy squad. It's just about having the calibre and the youngsters playing in and around those and not going for the same old deadwood.
Well, I mean, this is what I touched on with England earlier, and I keep getting really angry about it, but the fact that it just seems to be the same team that lost at the Euros, more or less, for England.
Yeah.
But Italy have embraced these young players that they've got coming up, and they seem to have gone right. The World Cup's 2 years away, now's the time to play them.
I mean, great, because Ventura, when he was brought in, a lot of people raising a few eyebrows saying, is he going to be doing the same thing that Conte did? But Conte brought the best out of those ageing stars, and they sort of thought like Euro 2016 was their last shot at glory. And Ventura's come in, he's started to mix it up a bit. He's dropped a few of the the so-called big stars who haven't been cutting it. Obviously, Zaza was in the last squad, and he's been lambasted in the press left, right, and centre. But he was in that squad, and he's a good asset to have off the bench, even though he isn't scoring for West Ham at the moment. But yeah, youngsters in abundance at the moment. It's really, I think it's quite promising. I think Italy will surprise quite a few teams, especially if they end up winning the group, because there's a big game next year in September in Spain. That will decide who wins that group.
But I mean, essentially, it's the winner of that wins.
And there was talk actually yesterday, Ventura, or actually on Monday in his press conference, that he wants the league to start earlier in Italy because they start later compared to other leagues, and it will give them a head start going into those games. Because if Spain have played 2 or 3 games in La Liga and Italy have only played 1, that also, you can't compete on that level. And he was right to put that proposal forward.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Also, friendly last night, Germany drew 0-0, which Italy are their bogey team notoriously, although of course they lost the penalty shootout at the Euros just gone, but notoriously Germany don't beat Italy, didn't beat them again last night. 0-0, was it as boring as it sounds?
Yeah, awful.
Was it?
I watched the highlights today just to see if I could, get a few insights, and Bellotti hitting the post was one of the main one, and Germany had a goal disallowed through Kevin Volland, and apparently that was done through video referees, which was one of the first times that they've introduced that. Yeah, I think they're going to try and introduce it for the 2018 World Cup. And that was he was offside in the build-up, and they worked it out through that. So it's quite interesting, quite a really good technological innovation to have going into a major tournament, so we don't have any of those.
Yeah.
I remember at the World Cup last time when Benzema scored that goal and Jonathan Pearce was going mental on TV saying, "Oh, is it a goal? Is it a goal?" And it was, because it was so far over the line, and he just couldn't believe it. He was like, "Oh no, the technology's rubbish."
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
any of that.
Of course, Frank Lampard against Germany.
And of course that as well.
In that game, we were definitely going to win, by the way.
You never know, it was 1-1 at the time. Could have turned that way.
Such revisionist history, though, that we always go on about how much we were robbed in that game.
But we would have gone out in the quarterfinals at least.
Exactly, we would have got those out. If
it
wasn't, when we had Matt Upson at centre back, it was always going to go badly. And we touched on it briefly, the youngsters, but who stood out for the Italy team? Any?
Bellotti, definitely. Immobile now has got his new lease of life at Lazio, and he was sort of seen as the jester and the joker, and didn't really do well at Dortmund and Sevilla in the last couple of seasons.
He's been an odd one because there was a point in his career when everyone was very excited about Immobile. Is that how am I saying?
Immobile, yeah.
Immobile, I'm saying it correct. I mean, a striker named Immobile is never going to be great, is it?
really puts him down to a T.
But he has struggled the last few years.
He has.
He's had a couple of transfers that haven't worked out, but he's on a bit of a upsurge at the moment, is he?
He was sort of seen as a big fish in a small pond at Torino, and obviously didn't make the grade at Juventus as well. I think he was on a co-ownership deal between the two clubs, which is, quite. It happens a lot in Italy, and especially between two big rivals. It's quite strange how that came about, but yeah, he's done brilliantly this season. He's one of the top scorers in Italy at the moment, so really finding his feet over there under Simone Inzaghi, and a really good asset to have up front. I've not been his biggest fan for the last couple of years, but he was never going to be able to cut the mustard at Dortmund and Sevilla because they play a different brand of football to what he was used to at Torino, which was more direct, and they're more tippy-tappy, passing it on the ground, and Italy is a bit more direct, so he's thriving in those sort of systems.
Well done.
Yeah,
well done,
on
Chiro.
him. Good on
mate.
Good on you earning 50 grand a week and popping a few goals in. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Let's focus domestically because thankfully the international break is nearly over. And Serie A is back this weekend, or Syria, as I like to call it. Exactly. Syria is back this weekend as well.
It never went away.
The big game, skipping straight to Sunday, it's the last kickoff of the weekend, is the Milan derby.
I mean, tasty as.
Tasty game at the best of times. But obviously, new manager, Pioli, at Inter Milan. So, I mean, he's gone straight in at the deep end with this. I can never work out, what do you think? Is it a good thing to go in with a new manager or bad thing to go in with a new manager to these games?
In the Premier League, it's always seen as a blessing for certain teams, that especially if they're going to go and play against the big guns, and a new manager comes in, has a little bit of time, maybe a week, 10 days, to try and instill his tactics in those teams, that they can go out there and get a point at the so-called bigger clubs. We'll see with Pioli. I think the system that he's going to play at Inter will be very different to De Boer. So has he had that time over the international break to be able to put that into his players' minds? Going up against Milan, I think it's going to be Milan versus Inter. So it will be, obviously they're still playing the same stadium, but it will be the core ardent Milan fans. I just don't think Inter will get anything out of that game. I think Milan will beat them quite comfortably. Actually, I think they'll end up winning about 3-1. It's showing a seismic shift at the moment in that city, that Milan are starting to really find themselves, and a young, vibrant team up against an Inter team full of expensive flops, which is a sorry state of affairs.
Feel like fan TV, full of expensive flops. We have got Raj Skyping us in on the Fan TV channel. Thank you everyone that's getting in touch tonight. Raj, are you there, mate?
You all right, Davey?
Yes, very well. How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, not bad. Glad the international break's finally over.
Yeah, I think
everyone hates the international break.
Everyone on the sofa, to a man, has hated the international break.
More than Piers Morgan? I don't think so. I think we hate Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan, maybe, but then we all hate Piers Morgan. So these things go round in circles. It's amazing how these things work. Raj, the reason we wanted to get you on tonight is talk about, from a Liverpool perspective, first of all, looking ahead to the weekend, but also Adam Lallana going off last night in a pointless friendly against Spain. What did you think when you saw that?
Yeah, I was gutted, to be honest. I just had the thing is, it's always going to happen, wasn't it? Because Lallana, he's been playing so well, and it's typical, isn't it? When he's in his best run of form, he's going to get injured on international duty. Nothing like Klopp could have done about it, but I think it's one of these things, to be honest. You can't really put blame on the England medical staff or Southgate in particular. It's going to happen, isn't it? It's just part of football.
And before that, were you enjoying seeing Lallana in England shirt wheeling away and scoring goals?
Well, yeah, I was finally, he's back into his best position, which is the number 10 position. As I said before, I think the other day, I don't like him on the wing where he was playing against Scotland. He doesn't have that pace to trouble him behind. And obviously for Liverpool, he's been playing better in that deeper position. So I hope he gets another run of games for England in that position, because he was definitely enjoying himself out there. He played that ball into Vardy. He was starting to have a bit of influence on the game. He was pressing from the front, which is what he can do if he's in a central area. He was pressing the likes of Busquets and their centre-backs, not giving them time on the ball. So, yeah, I think that if he continues in that role, yeah, definitely could be a great sign for England.
It's been a kind of a problem since Lallana arrived at Liverpool. OK, this has been his best form, certainly, but in the last couple of seasons as well, when he's just shown signs he's about to really make his mark on the team, then he picks up a little knock and he's out for 3 weeks and it takes time for him. Yeah. I mean, it's just such a frustrating timing for him more than anything, this, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because he's starting to exude confidence in the Liverpool shirt. You could tell he felt like he was one of those leaders on the pitch. Finally, I think Klopp had given him that authority and license and that role in the team where he felt he was the man who's leading all the pressing from the front. He was initiating all that high tempo stuff. Yeah, so it's disappointing for him. I've heard he's not definitely out of the game against Southampton. So fingers crossed, but I don't think there's any point risking him if he's a bit of a doubt.
Yeah.
If you want him to make a quick recovery, give him that protein. How much protein has he got in the
Is that protein in the background there, Raj?
Fix the muscle fibres of that.
Look at that, Raj.
What is that going on?
You must be like the Incredible Hulk underneath that hoodie, Raj.
Not that all protein.
He's an absolute machine. I had no idea.
He's trying to peddle it on this show. Is that why he's got it in the background?
Exactly.
Oh.
Stop trying to sell your weird illegal white powder on our show for the last time, Raj. Gosh.
Yeah, I'll get rid of it next time, sorry.
Just a quick one, mate. We've only got a minute to go until the break, but Saturday, 3 o'clock, Southampton away. Very tough fixture in anyone's book, Southampton away. What are your expectations for it?
Yeah. Puel, he's really got them playing well this season. I think tactically he's quite a smart manager. We saw against Inter Milan. I saw Gianluca would have told you all about that. He definitely did a number on them. What I think the key is, because Coutinho only played the friendly for Brazil, their qualifier for Brazil on Wednesday morning. So I think he's going to be arriving quite late back at Liverpool. So I don't think we're going to risk him. There's rumours that Sturridge is going to get a start.
Oh, really?
And I think if Sturridge starts, we could see the diamond back at Liverpool, because we saw against Tottenham in the Carling Cup match.
Raj, Raj, I've only got 10 seconds to go. But I think you're spot on about Sturridge is going to start. What do you think the score's going to be?
Score, I think 2-1.
2-1. 2-1. Break. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are going to Skype with Clinton in just a few moments' time. He's going to give us the latest update on Newcastle, who are still just doing very, very well, basically. That's the update on Newcastle. Oh, he's ready. He's there. He's there. Clinton's there. Hello, Clinton. Sorry, that's the first time I've seen that. You've got a new sting. So this is Clinton Ford, our Newcastle expert, and he's got a new little bit every time you come on, Clinton. Something to look forward to every week, mate. How you doing, Clinton? Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good. It's good to see you've got a new gig as the Newcastle kit man as well. That's nice. It's nice that you're feeling...
Well, put some use to Herm and I.
Well, last week you were Skyping us from a hotel room.
Well, yeah, I thought I'd change up a little bit. You know, Birmingham got a bit boring, so now I'm back in the tune. So
you're back in the
I've
tune.
literally
Yeah?
just got back as well. I was in London. So,
Oh, really? Should have come and joined us on the lime green sofa. It would have been far easier.
We're not that bad. Come on. Come on, Clinton.
I know. It must have been something you said, Gianluca.
I mean,
Must have been something you said,
Always,
mate.
always.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an international break. Are you grateful that the international break's coming to an end?
oh, thank God it's over. I mean, we don't need to watch England anymore. We can put them to rest for a nice couple of months now and get back to the real football now.
Absolutely. The Premier League. Actually, you wouldn't know anything about that, Clinton.
Oh, that's a low blow.
I couldn't help myself. No, I mean, actually, got to say, one of the most exciting games anywhere in Europe's happening in the Championship this weekend. Newcastle Leeds, massive, massive game this.
Oh, absolutely mammoth game. I mean, two top teams probably deserve to be in the Premier League. I mean, Leeds haven't been there for a while now, so they wouldn't know much about that. But again, let's talk about Newcastle because that's what we're here to talk about. I'm heavily looking forward to it myself. I'm going down on the Saturday, going to take in the culture of Leeds, and then on Sunday it's...
You won't need a whole day then, mate. You can get there Sunday morning, don't worry. No, but you're making a day of it. You're going for the game. And
Yeah, might as well. I haven't been to Leeds for a while now, and it's got an awesome nightlife. So I'm looking to, strike it lucky and then see what happens on the Sunday.
There you go. You heard it on Fan TV first. Women and children, beware of Leeds.
Lock up your
daughters. Clinton's on the prowl Saturday night in Leeds. Be careful. Be careful. I mean, it is two clubs with a massive, massive fan base, obviously, down in the Championship. We've touched on it before on how important it is that Newcastle come up straight away. You don't want to spend too many years down there and become forgotten. Are Leeds kind of a scary reminder of what's possible if you do languish in the Championship for a couple of seasons?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I remember the days when they was playing Champions League football under David O'Leary, so it doesn't even feel that long ago. So we definitely want to steer clear of that. Obviously, we've got the right man for the job, Rafa Benitez, top of the league right now. So we definitely don't want to be where Leeds were. I mean, they dipped down into the first division for a while, didn't they? League One, and then they came back up to the Championship. So, yeah, one season is enough to be in the Championship, remind us where we need to be, and then hopefully back into the promised land at the first time of asking.
Yeah, I think there's every chance. I think you'd be hard-pushed to find somebody who doesn't believe that Newcastle are going to get promoted this year. Rafa Benitez, Manager of the Month for October, Championship Manager of the Month. Should they just give him that award now for every month until May?
Exactly. I was thinking to myself, now, let's be honest, Toby. Who else is there to give it to? Come on. I mean, so for a manager that wins 5 games out of 5, top of the league, 3 points clear, quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. I mean, sorry to brag on that, but come on. Who else are you going to give it to?
No, I do think Rafa's on fire at the minute.
Gary Monk, you could give it to.
Gary Monk, exactly, the man who'll be in the opposite dugout this weekend.
Be getting the 3 points on Sunday.
As I said, facts is facts. Just what Rafa Benitez always says, facts. Facts. EFL quarterfinal, facts. 3 points clear, facts.
I'll warn you as a Liverpool fan, his facts rants don't always finish too well, though. They don't always end up too great, Clinton. I will warn you about that. And speaking of ex-Liverpool links, you've been linked with Steven Gerrard over the last 2 weeks. He's finished his time in LA, and there's talk that Rafa wants him at Newcastle. Would Newcastle fans welcome Steven Gerrard?
I think so. I mean, imagine that, having Gerrard and Shelvey in the same team. It's like, the 4 founding member of the Long Ball Club, and then his successor, that's the word I'm looking for. So imagine having them both in the same side. Yeah, I'll take him in a heartbeat. Apparently he might be coming in January. It'd be a good time to take him as well,
Just be passing him straight out of play every time, 40 yards out of play.
Whoa. Be mean to me, but let's leave Steven Gerrard alone. I'll take any abuse you want to send Steven's way, okay? I'll take that bullet for Steven, don't you worry. You've had an international break. How did the Newcastle players get on?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously, we didn't have no one in the England team, which is kind of a blessing in disguise, judging by yesterday's performance. But yeah, we had Micho still on fire. He scored an equaliser against Wales, and then obviously Adam Armstrong got a hat-trick as well. He's out on loan at Barnsley, so It's looking very well. Obviously, we want to get some players in the England squad, but that will come in due time.
And finally, mate, tell us about your podcast as well. Is this a new thing, your podcast?
Yeah, just started it this week with a bunch of fans from other teams. So basically, it's called 4 Men and 1 League, based around the Championship. So obviously, I'm representing Newcastle United. There's a fan from Wolves, fan from Reading FC, and a fan from Preston North End. And it's doing okay so far. We've had quite a few more inquiries from other teams as well. So it could change from 4 men to like 10 men in the space of a week.
And if Newcastle go up, you're just going to sack it all off then at the end of the season. 4 men, 1 league. That's
a good point. That's a good point. This thing can only run till May, presumably.
It's nice knowing you guys, but, business. We've got to get to the Premier League.
Big leagues now.
Exactly.
Big
I've got a Premier League podcast to worry about. Well, mate, all the best, Clinton. And just a reminder that his podcast is called 4 Men, 1 League. Be very careful typing that into Google because there's a similar video involving 2 women and 1 something. I can't remember. But be careful. You don't want to watch that. That's very different indeed. We will let you go. We will let you go, Clinton. But thank you very much, mate. We'll speak to you same time next week.
Yeah, cheers for that, Toby.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Have a good one. And, there we go.
Thank you.
Tell you what, having seen that, Gianluca, you're glad you don't have a sting, aren't you? that is rubbish. We are across all the massive goals as they're going in tonight. It is international break, but we're across all the huge games going in. I can tell you that in the Ferrari Packaging Lowland League, don't laugh.
They're really at the races in that one, aren't they?
Hey! Here we go. Gala Fairydean have taken the lead against Vale of Leithen. It is now 3-2. 2 goals for Sutherland and 1 for Noble. So well done, anyone that had money on that. And East Kilbride are now 3-0 up at home to Civil Service Strollers. Second one scored by Winter. And also in the Press and Journal Highland League, Bucky Thistle are winning 2-1 away at Keith. And what a Keith?
A one-man team!
A one-man team! A one-man team! Yes, I love it. We'll keep you across the goals as they go in. And I can tell you that Keith was the goal scorer in that game. We touched on it briefly, but then we went back on Syria, whatever you want to call it. We touched on it briefly. AC Milan, Inter Milan. Going back to that quickly, Pioli's the new manager in charge at Inter Milan. An 18-month deal, which seems a very odd length contract, 18 months. Is this them going 18 months from you, and then we've got a guy called Diego Simeone we quite like?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Massimiliano Allegri got 2 years at Juventus, so like for them to come in, and he knew that his objective was to win the league and then win the Serie A, win the cup as well, which hadn't done 20 years. With Pioli, yeah, I mean Diego Simeone, everyone's been touting him to go back home basically, where he made he named for himself. Obviously, he played for Lazio as well in Italy, but at Inter Milan, he was one of their midfield engines, and he could potentially go and manage there. But would he go and manage at a team that aren't in the Champions League? I just don't know. I don't think he would. I think he'd see it as too much of a challenge. He needs to have a team that's settled. He did have that Atletico Madrid, and obviously he brought in a few stars to further enhance that team and bring it to that next level. I mean, I don't see I see where, the fans sort of like nostalgic and think, oh, can bring him in, a big name. Mourinho came to us one time as well, but that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Those sort of calibre of managers, it's going to be difficult.
Like the manager tailor-made for Serie A with the style of football that he plays.
He does. I just think he's more of a top tier. One of those 3, Roma, Napoli or Juventus, I think he'd really, really thrive at one of those 3, and he could definitely break... He could break the monopoly of Juventus winning the league if he went to Roma or Napoli. I think a certain calibre of players would go to those teams, and they're very good anyway.
Yeah. No, it'd be interesting with that. I take your point though. I think he's experienced the high life of Atletico Madrid. I don't know why he'd want to go.
I mean, he reduced his contract, didn't he? He signed that extension to revert it. So from being 2020 to 2018, it was always his thing to go and elsewhere. I mean, he doesn't speak English, so he won't go to the Premier League straight away. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years.
Just yet. Well, let's not stop Chelsea hiring managers before.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Elsewhere in Serie A, Napoli away at Udinese. I mean, Udinese are just not the same team they were a few years ago either.
No more Antonio Di Natale leading the line. They got a guy called Cyril Theroux, who's a French geezer who played for Kiev at one point. Not the greatest forward to have, and try and have it in the same ilk as old Di Natale, who was yeah, I mean, it
The
was
best
a shame that
50-year-old striker in history.
Yeah, it was a shame that he never actually won the Serie A title. He was supposed to go to Juventus, I think, in 2011. I think Ranieri was trying to sign him, and he didn't actually go there, or Conte even. And yeah, it was a big shame that he never did that. But I think Napoli will have more than enough, even though they're missing Milik up front, obviously out with a long-term injury. But they were linked with Simone Zaza this week. And apparently,
Really?
he's really keen on going there. And I don't know, I think if they're blind or stupid, if they want to take him up, because he's if they're going to pay 25 million for him, then there are certainly better strikers out there, especially in January. I mean, Daniel Sturridge's 28. Why don't you just go and get him? Why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
no, it's a very good point. Only a minute and a half to go until the break, but Juventus as well at home to Pescara. I mean,
Yeah.
is that another one that's a nailed-on Juve win?
I think so. I think they'll probably run out three or 4-0 winners in that game. Dybala's out at the moment with a slight injury. I don't think he'll make it, but Mandzukic just played himself into some form, and he's become a sort of the forgotten man at Juventus,
Yeah.
obviously with Higuain as well. And I think such a great striker who didn't really have things going his way at Atletico Madrid under Simeone, actually. So if he can sort of find his form and start playing more regularly, Juventus always win when he scores. 11 games. In the 11 games that he scored, they always win.
Really?
They should just play him every week.
Yeah,
I mean, what are they doing?
Or he should just score every week.
I mean,
Come
yeah,
on, mate.
yeah.
Pull your finger out. We've got a couple of tweets in at FanTVUK. Thank everyone that's got in touch. This is the one about the question of whether you prefer your club or country. International football is just less exciting as well. Our national team can't compare to the talent available in the Premier League. Mitch, thank you very much for tweeting us. And I'd be hard-pressed to disagree with him. And Justin Lee Collins, somebody's tweeted, Charlie from Busted has tweeted, I've got serious man flu at the moment. Anyone have any tried and tested ancient remedies I may not have heard of? Justin Lee Collins, absolutely brother. Order a file curry and eat it as fast as you can. You can't go wrong. Don't put it in your eyes. Right, we'll be back in a sec. Hi there, it is Fan TV. Just half an hour to go tonight until we are here until 10 o'clock on Sky 212, Facebook and YouTube. And time for a couple more fans on the lime green sofas. It's Nick and Jell, our Crystal Palace fans. Come on, Nick and Jell. Hello, hello.
You all right?
Good
How
to
you
see you,
doing?
mate. How you been? All right? Good to
Hello,
see you,
mate.
mate.
How you doing?
How
You
we
all right?
doing? Take a seat. Take a seat.
Random gift
Oh.
from Argentina.
Frank, that is very random. A Boca Juniors. I like it, though.
My brother-in-law gave it to me.
Oh, really?
My brother-in-law's
That's actually very
Argentinian.
cool.
He lives in Argentina. So
He's
it came from
Argentinian,
there.
lives in Miami. He's called Ken.
You're giving me a right He's called
Ken Malcolm. His mum's Argentinian.
Ken Malcolm and his mum's Argentinian.
And his dad's Scottish.
Which half of his name's Argentinian, Ken or Malcolm?
I don't know.
We'll rest up for here and then we'll find space on the sofa when we have a spare moment. But let's talk about Crystal Palace, unless you don't want to.
Talk about the international break this time, I think. We'll talk about that.
that one we didn't watch any of the games.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that one, yeah. I mean, if you just want to lie on the sofa and I could, like, be your therapist and stuff, you just want to get it off your chest.
Yeah, we do seem to visit you on different parts of the roller coaster, didn't we? Last time we were on a real high, because we'd won, or we were leading 20 minutes into a game. Was that the reason we were so happy?
Probably.
And now we're right back at the lowest ebb, the Crystal Palace that we all know and love. This could mean, though, that maybe coincides with Fan TV now, maybe you go on a run afterwards as well.
Gel wants Pardew out now.
You want Pardew out now?
Well, last time, do you remember? Lucy came on and you said...
weren't blown away by him then.
No, I wasn't. You know, I've never been massively, convinced by him. No wins. That massive winless run that we had and saved by a cup final defeat. I can't think that any other club would have kept their manager. The run we're on now. I just don't think he's. People say he hasn't got a plan B. I think he just fell into that run. It's the Pardew way.
Plan A's not great, is it?
He's a 6-month manager. That's what he is. Goes well for 6 months, then he's poor, gets booted, gets another job. It's so frustrating. It really is frustrating. But we this. He seems to be getting away with this word transition. He's brought this word in. I don't know what. Transition to what? To the Championship?
Yeah.
I think Opta something came out with a great stat the other day. They said that we have got the worst record in all 4 divisions.
Yes.
Probably in the Northern Hemisphere.
Statistically, you are the worst team in the Football League in 2016. 0.73 points per game.
Okay.
You're just above York City and Dagenham and Redbridge.
So times 38 is what? is 28 points. No team has stayed in the Premier League on 28 points. Yeah. 34.
But the season started in August.
But it's
that's when it starts from. I say give him a little bit of time because I think we're playing all right football. It's just we're making catastrophic defensive mistakes. And if a defender makes a mistake, that ain't the manager's fault. And who are you going to get in?
3 of them. 3 in one game. How many? 3 mistakes, 3 goals. We lose 3-2. Lovely.
It's football.
It's an interesting one. I mean, I think it's fair to say you're probably in the minority, would you say now? It's kind of been 50-50 for a while. I felt like the latest results have just tipped 60-40 in the favour, would you say? You've always been in the minority. Oh, wait, before you say anything, we've got a man that you know very well who's going to join us on Skype. It's Cape Town Kev, everybody. Cape Town Kev's here.
Hello, Kev.
Hello, Kev. How you doing, mate?
Kev.
TT, how are you, mate?
Very
Nick,
well.
Jill, nice to see you, fellas.
Good to see you, mate. We had a nice conversation via Skype on Saturday, right after the Palace game. So, he's got his drink. What's your tipple there, Kev?
On the rosé.
You're on the rosé. Is that a pint of rosé?
Is it a pint?
He's all class, our Kev, isn't he? He's all class. A pint of rosé. I spoke to him straight after the 3-2 game. He was fuming. He was fuming, and he was very much in your camp of Pardew out, weren't you, Kev?
Yeah, near enough getting there. It's wearing a bit thin. I must admit, I'm with Nick. I want to give him more time, but it is starting to wear a bit thin. I am getting a little bit frustrated now. I was on another a Premier League show the other week talking to Leroy Rossini.
Whoa.
He's a whore, isn't he?
You are. You just go to the highest bidder, don't you?
What can I tell you?
Look at you. Do you show them your pints of rosé on that show as well, do you?
No, they don't let me. They tell me I'm under strict instructions not to put any alcohol on the view when I'm on the TV on that one. So,
there you go.
Can't do what he wants on here.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't get that at Fan TV. We encourage our fans to be alcoholics at Fan TV.
He'll be able to go on Clinton's podcast, replace Clinton next year, won't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can replace Clinton in two men, one something.
4 men, isn't it?
2 cops, 1 man.
I don't know. No, so, I mean, you think Pardew deserves a bit more time? I mean, he's clearly not going before Saturday, you wouldn't imagine, so he's clearly going to get given more time.
He is, and we saw that photo of him with Frank Lampard, which is a bit worrying.
Well, Newcastle are talking about signing Steven Gerrard. Crystal Palace talking about signing Frank Lampard. What's going on? I mean, it's
Well, he'll probably go to
times.
West Ham, because any time we get mentioned with a player, West Ham buy him, and when we mugged him with Zaza.
Here.
So, but yeah, I don't know what it is.
To be fair, there's not too many players at West Ham signed who you must be gutted about.
But we
missing
need a
out
ball
on.
player. We need a ball player. We haven't got a ball player. It's as simple as that.
Well, we've got Kabay.
Have we? Lovely. You know, is that the player that we wanted? You know, we got him from the player that was fantastic at Newcastle. Turns up on our doorstep and he's average.
He started
We've got
well
enough
for you
average.
guys
We've got
as
enough
well.
average. You know, we're going out and spending £32 million on a, you know, like buying a Ferrari and filling it up with diesel. Just like, honestly, it's just a joke.
I mean, you're in a relegation battle, aren't you? We had West Ham fans
We always
below
are.
you.
We're not under West Ham.
Saying that they weren't in one.
West Ham. I just, you know, their freebie stadium or whatever. But anyway, we just, you know, there's 6 teams, and we're one of the 6 teams that got a chance of going down. Like I said, you know, you can't disprove facts and stats. You know, 0.73, we go down. Simple as. This is not something that's happened just like a catastrophic failure in form. This is something that's happened over a whole year. You know, just getting beat and the manner we're getting beat. We're just saying to Nick on the way up here, the Burnley thing was a little bit. Not that I didn't mind, but we were 2-0 down and we done them 3-2 up at their place. You know, 2-0 down and they done us. We always have good games with them, always quite tight games. So, but it's just the manner that we don't seem to have. There's just something missing in our team now. I don't know what it is. We seem to be getting a few individuals, and we've never been like that. We've always been a team. You know, go out, play as a team, lose as a team, win as a team. Everyone's all hugs. Everyone's, you know. But now doesn't seem to be. Seems very fractious.
That's because when we was in the Championship, we were having the youth players coming through, so they were all coming through together. That was the core of the team.
Klein, Jazahas, Scannels, and
well, there's only one of each of them, but yeah, I know what you mean. The only footballing twins, the Greenoffs, you might get away with.
Yeah, the Nevilles,
the Smiths. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem to have a policy of bringing our players. You know, everyone else seems to. Who was it? He chucks him in for one game last year.
Edgar Davids.
Yeah, we just seem to we bring the kid in for a game, give him a taster. Boateng, we brought him in. Yeah, we brought him in, and then he's gone. I mean, you've got to give these players a chance. You never know. Dele Alli, it was a big risk for Spurs, but they saw something, and all of a sudden he's in the team, and within months he's probably a pivotal part of the England side.
Yeah.
You know, these players, they step up, and then if they're prepared to step up on the big stage, but you've got to give them a chance. We've said for ages, and we are the kind of club that you know, our fans are, that give our kids a chance, and we go down fighting with our kids rather than have players that give up or just get the ump. You know, I can't work out what it is about our club. You know, like Wilf had that massive rut with Pardew. And I said to my mate, they're shouting at each other at the Spurs game last year. I said to my mate Gary, they're shouting at each other. All of a sudden, Wilf doesn't come out for the second half. Punching. But what happened with that? With the cup final, all of a sudden, he's not even playing.
Yeah.
You know, I'll put my hands up. I am not Punchin's biggest fan. I think he doesn't spend enough time involved as a player that's supposed to be one of our big players. He doesn't spend enough time imposing himself on the game. But you saw what he did. Come on a sub, scored the goal. We're in the game, but they seem to be having a. You know, it's. I really don't know what it is. It seems that Pardew seems to have come in, and he's like Jedinek. I know he wasn't the best, but we haven't got anyone that smashes people up in the air, breaks the ball. I know, he kicks someone up in the air and then give them the ball back. But you know,
but he gives it back to them, and they're slightly more hurt than they were before.
Exactly. But we haven't got that. But that's what we need. That's what we need. Someone that's going to smash someone up in the air and a ball player. So someone whacks them, give it to the ball player, and the ball player can do what he wants with their wingers and stuff.
Kev, do you agree with everything being said here on the sofa by Gel? I mean, Pardew seems to be at the root cause of a lot of those problems. The players he's brought in, the players he's not nourished, the players he's not utilised. Is that fair to say? Do you think Pardew's the root of a lot of the problems at Crystal Palace, or is there something a bit more ingrained?
No, I agree 100% with Joe. Totally, it is. You know, we've got all these youngsters. We're known for a great we're known to have a great academy. We bring these players through. You know what I mean? And we're not sort of. We've got them sitting there, and you know, you've only got to look at like you know our fan site, you know, the HOL and what have you. And people go. I went to development games when last time I was back in England for a long time, and you can see there's so much talent there. But as Joe was saying, we want to buy these big name players, and all of a sudden they ain't really doing it for us. You know, Cabaye, it's just for me at the moment. It's just like for the last 2 seasons, it's been a waste of time. Really, it's just been. He just wants to kick everyone. Unfortunately,
He gets the ump.
All right, he come in for a lot of stick and got kicked a lot. But all of a sudden, he just wants to become this kicking machine, and he's one of Pardew's golden boys, so he's always going to be in the first 11 when he's fit. You know, and we've got this and this thing with you know Townsend wanting to play on the right hand side. You know, the great example for me was against Burnley. Like I said to you when I spoke to you after the game, he wanted, you know, there was all this nonsense about Townsend playing on the right hand side. Second half, they changed over. For me, Will had the best 45 minutes he's had for a long time.
Yeah,
because he played where he wants to play. Play players to their strengths.
Kevin,
play players who want to play football.
We're going to take a break, but I didn't see any disagreement on the lime green sofa here. I think everything you've said
watching Arsene nodding in agreement
Oh,
behind
and you
there.
couldn't help but watching Arsene Wenger bobblehead nodding along with you, Kev. Even Arsene Wenger agrees with you, Kev. Kevin, mate, we're going to let you go. Literally, in a word, well, in a couple of numbers, what's the score going to be? City, Saturday.
I'll stick my neck out here. 3-2 Palace, last minute winner.
3-2 Palace, last minute winner. I like that. I like your style, Kev. I like your style. Go and enjoy your rosé. Go and enjoy talking to whoever else wants to hear from you, mate.
Bye, Kev.
Can't believe that. Can't believe that. He's found another show. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right, we'll be back in a sec for the last section, talking about Crystal Palace and just general football as well.
I'm there.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that. To be fair. Sorry, we're live. We're back. We're back.
All right.
We were discussing the merits of selling a gel action figure, I guess you'd call it, where you pull a string of gels back and he just goes, Pardew out, GI gel, a GI gel doll. You've got to start selling them. You got to start selling there, haven't you? All right, before we come back to talking about Crystal Palace, before we pull gel string again, we've got some final scores in. So here we go. In the Ferrari Packaging Lowland League, I can tell you the final score was Gala Fairydean 4, Vale of Leithen 2. Pringle taking the final goal in the 84th minute there. Also, East Kilbride are 4-0 up now at home to the Civil Service Strollers. It was a 93rd minute goal from Vittoria, his second of the match. So well done, Vittoria, there. And we've been across all the big games tonight, haven't we? What's the score in the Keith game? I'll wait for it. It's 2-2.
He was abandoned because he was sent off.
Everybody's favourite one-man team, Keith, have equalised. It's 2-2. But Nick reckons it might have been abandoned because Keith's been sent off. Keith, his disciplinary record is shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, when he gets sent off, the whole team suffers.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Keith. That's the thing with Keith. Oh no, I've been Michael Owen. Sorry, it was boring. My joke was awful. I'm sorry. If anything boring ever happens on the show, we just show pictures of Michael Owen, basically.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it was me, don't worry. It wasn't you guys, don't worry. Right, Crystal Palace. Let's do the numbers. They're not pretty. Lost 4 in a row. You've won 1 in 6. That was against Sunderland, who were really bad, by the way. You've conceded 13 times in those 6 games. And you've got Man City on Saturday. So good time to play them.
Yeah.
Good time.
Well, we are scoring goals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, at least we're scoring goals. But
Yeah.
it's 2 against Liverpool, 4 conceded.
Yeah.
2 against Burnley, 3 conceded. You know, we just...
We haven't. We're in trouble in the defence anyway. You know, Suarez still out. I don't know when he's going to be back. He keeps tinkering with that Dan Tompkins Delaney partnership. I know
But we
it's
did
free,
say,
but-
didn't we? We were talking even when we had those 3, and they were. You know, we always said if you take one of those out, we were still a 4. You know, it is. Hard you out. But we were 3 players missing. I still think we're another forward missing.
Yeah.
You know,
well, Remy.
Eh?
Remy. He'll fit soon.
The Loney.
He can play centre back.
Remy the Loney. Lovely. Yeah, he can play left back.
Yeah.
City away. City at home. Sorry.
Yeah. We don't matter.
Doesn't matter. Kevin very optimistically said 3-2 late minute winner from Palace. What do you reckon?
We're going to suffer our worst ever home defeat.
Really?
7-2, I think the score will be.
7-2? Wow. Pull his string. Let's get his prediction.
3-1.
I think the string,
Loss.
3-1 loss.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah,
7-2 loss.
Yeah, I
So a
can't see
combined
us.
total of 10-3, which is not great. I mean,
No.
that's kind of a sign of the times where Palace are. I mean, is it one of those where when you're on a slump, you've got to turn it around eventually, or is there no solace in that at all? It's just you're playing a very good team at a bad time.
We're just playing a very good team at a bad time. But they're not having the best time either, are they, really? City?
No, yeah.
But I still think they're going to thump us.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for bringing your positivity.
That was my positivity.
Good feelings to fancy.
It's so difficult being a Palace fan. You know, you start having a split personality. They're going to hurt you. You're going to love them, but they're going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And you're not going to mind.
I mean, does Pardew as well?
It's really terrible. But I just think he's had his time. He's had his chance. He's had his money. He's had his time.
Has he had this annoying knack as well of Pardew of just when he's circling the drain, of just pulling out a result that just gives him another month? Has he got? And is this going to be one? Could this be one of those? He goes and draws. No.
Well, do you know, I remember we interviewed our chairman, and before the season started, I mean, we were talking about the money side of things, and part of his interview, he said we've held some money back for January just in case.
Just in case what? Yeah.
Exactly.
Frank Lampard becomes available.
But just in case. So he's one of our chairmen.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that, you know, the more verbal. Well, he is the mouth of Palace. You know, he's the one that
I thought
talks
that was
to
you.
the fans. And, yeah, I feel like it sometimes.
It is interesting though that we've heard some rumblings from the not from the American owners, but the American owners got a lot of ice hockey teams, and they have a thing that they measure their managers and coaches in 6-game runs, and if they don't do well enough in that 6-game run,
Podge would have been fired 15 times.
Well, like you said, he keeps winning that game just to buy him a bit. I love that circling the drain analogy. That's brilliant.
Circling the drain. So you can have that. You can load that up into his settings. You can have that from now on.
But you know, people were saying who's out there. There's plenty of managers out there. You know, I just think that we do need to turn to, you know, a top foreign coach who can lure a couple of you know, maybe some top class quality passing midfielders, or, you know, at least one, you know, foreign player, instead of you know, if this transitional period that he's trying to get through of turning this into, you know, from hoofball, which we're still playing, by the way, during his transitional.
No, we're not.
Well, we do. We just hoof it up to.
Rubbish. We're passing it well.
Oh yeah, for what, 4 passes, and then we just give it away.
That's 4 more passes and 1 hoof and giving it away.
Well, yeah, but
have you ever had a fight on here between 2 fans of the same team?
Now, I don't want to be mean, but I've got a feeling I know which way this fight would go, though.
No, because he's going to choke to death on his Pardew out call. That'll be his last word.
There's kind of a beautiful irony.
But you can see now how this is, how he's got us. I just want him gone, and a lot of us. The thing is, a lot of people were sitting on the fence about him. You know, there was a lot of people that didn't want him in the first place, and then everyone, you know, came back as the hero. You know, the club hero. He's a club legend for what he's done. But I always say never. It never does. It never does.
Well,
you
never
take back a legend. It's just.
But I am going to say it would be good to have Lombardo as manager.
Yeah, well, he's only at City. You know, he's coming down Saturday. He might like what he sees.
Lampard player manager, you heard it here first.
Lampard
overseeing a...
No, Lombardo.
Lombardo. Attila Lombardo. I'm sure he's at City. I'm sure he was. He was at City last year.
That'd be great. I thought you were going to go for a Lampard player manager. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Well, what with his dad as director of football?
Dad as director of football, yeah.
And then you can talk about your Franks at Palace, you see.
Exactly. Your Lampard's coming through at Palace. I can reveal the answer. We played Kim or Kim earlier. We asked you which Kim out of Kim Kardashian, Kim Jong-un or Kim Kallstrom drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine with one evening meal. I can tell you the answer was Kim Jong-un. Well, he claims, anyway, that he drank 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine with one evening meal. That was a round of Kim or Kim. I don't know what could possibly go wrong. Just 10 bottles of Bordeaux wine and access to nuclear launch codes. I drunk text sometimes. I've never drunk blown up a country. That would be good.
How would you trump that?
I like that. How would you trump that? The results of Paul Turin as well on Twitter at FanTVUK. Which league best suits Lukaku's potential? 58% still reckon Premier League's the place for him. 20% Bundesliga. 11% La Liga and 11% Serie A, but the majority think the Premier League.
I think the Ferrari paper Scottish Gala Fairydean League.
Yeah, I think he'd be good for Keith. Keith could do with it, mate. Keith could do with it, mate. Lukaku, if you're listening, go sign for Keith. Right, tomorrow night, Justin is here at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, he'll have recovered in time after last night's experience with the foul. That was really entertaining. Watford, Norwich, Villa, Arsenal, plus 2 guys from the prostate cancer charity are going to be on the sofa. Dan Lan, La Liga man, will have our usual Spanish update on Skype. And Kenny Ken will be live here in the studio, kicking off. That is tomorrow, 7 o'clock on Fan TV. Kenny Ken live.
I was hoping he was going to be on tonight.
We've had to move it to Thursdays. Kenny Ken lined up because he goes to Arsenal games all the time.
Oh, right. Okay.
So sometimes has a Champions League game in the middle of the week. I wouldn't expect you guys to understand, but sometimes they play this thing called Champions League in the middle of the week.
Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about.
Do you remember when we was 5th and everyone was going Champions League?
Yeah.
Champions League.
Remember, it was only 10 months ago. We've had a tweet in as well from Lucy. I'm guessing it's the lovely Lucy. What do you reckon's got to change, Luce? The fight, the passion, the leadership, it's just gone. And then Chris Darwin chimed in. Remember, she only has 140 characters. Mind you, Palace need 11 of them. Oh. Quite symbolic. It's quite poetic from Chris Darwin there. Lucy, she's just kind of saying what I think a lot of Fan TV people are saying. That Crystal Palace people are saying that.
Well, the thing is, when you spoke to her, she said, no, you know, we're all 50-50 or with him, and now everyone's... I think the majority now are against him. So, you know, you don't hear the Alan Pardew's Red and Blue Army song anymore. You know, it's... yeah, I don't know. I think he's had his time, a couple of years. Just get a manager anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
all the good teams sack their manager after a couple of years anyway, apart from Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's why they don't win anything. Anyway, but you know, the Champions League for what, 17 years?
Yeah,
years in a
exactly.
row. So
no,
who can moan at that?
Yeah,
Piers Morgan.
Watford have fired managers left, right, and centre. They're doing all right, aren't they? Quickly, the international break's over. Thankfully, the only Palace player in it, Andros Townsend. Did England pick the wrong winger? I think Wilfried Zaha's been very good for you this year.
Stats. Prove anything with stats. Yeah. Much better than Townsend at the moment, Wilf.
Yeah.
So, but I just, do you know what? I'd tell you who's not done him any favours. Alan Shearer. I won't mention the show, but he caned him. Absolutely caned Wilf on another show, and it's just almost a character assassination.
Was he on that show with Cape Town Kev?
No, I don't know.
Bet he was. Cape Town Kev's popping up on every football show nowadays.
No, not on the. Anyway.
Yeah, Kev doesn't get invited to that.
No, he wouldn't get on Lineker's geek.
And there's only a minute to go, but Stephen Mandanda might be out. How big a loss would that be? Has he been your player of the season so far?
Coming for a bit of stick, hasn't he? Coming for a bit of stick.
Steve.
First time, coming for a bit of stick. So,
really?
Yeah.
A couple of errors.
Can't be mean about Steve. You won't have any of her songs left. For starters.
Steve's not a song, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a strange one, but like I say, it's what the squad's for.
Yeah.
You got Hennessy. He's all right.
You got Hennessy.
Good cover.
Pour some Hennessy out for my homies. Right, it's been a pleasure, guys.
Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Always a pleasure, never a chore. You reckon it's going to be your biggest ever home defeat against Man City on Saturday, and you're going for 7-2.
Yeah.
7-2.
With an Aguero own goal for our first.
An Aguero own goal for your first. Right, you heard it here first. Put some money on 7-2 to Man City over the weekend. I will see you Friday. Justin's in tomorrow. Have a good evening. Cheers, chaps. Good to see you again, lads.